Because I know there's a lot of guys 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the violence of the sport.
And how tough is Michael Chandler? He's so tough. He's so dangerous. He's so strong physically.
I love it, which is not a good thing.
And he has so much belief in his strength and his ability to fight at a high pace that he won't slow down.
I think it's a scary thing.
Oh! Big knockout for Michael Chandler!
I know when I'm on that TV and I'm in that cage,
Oh my goodness.
that dude can't be trusted. I think there's a lot of guys in the 155 division that don't want to fight me.
Yeah, what's next for Mike Chandler?
I probably would have called like.
I still laugh about the fucking Derek clip. Where everyone claps around the room and Derek claps just cause.
We're rolling.
We're rolling?
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Bussin' with the Boys. I'm your host, Will Compton. Before we get into all the goodies, we're going to go over the weekend recap of all the boys. I visited home. Dude, hey, did you guys see that video?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We'll talk about that a little bit. I'll tell you what, it's exhausting it is exhausting, boys. Being the being a 3-win football team. Are you sagging your head just because it's like, oh, here we go again?
Yes.
But we'll get into it. I was about to get going there. We'll get into that. Hey, Black Friday sales coming up. Biggest weekend of the year for Bussin' with the Boys and pretty much every brand across the entire world. A lot of new merch. I'm wearing some of it, as you guys can see right now. If you guys are watching the YouTube, if you're watching the YouTube, for the love of God, kindly leave a good comment. Maybe comment on what you're thankful for this Thanksgiving. Drop a comment, a real comment, not a live chat comment, a real comment on what you're thankful for. Make some friends. Tell some people you love them. Be kind. What else do we have on the docket? Oh, of course, obviously the Mike Chandler interview. That's the main part of the pod. I'm sitting here thinking I'm about to do a solo pod this whole time. But Mike Chandler, he came in last week and sat on the bus, and we got into his loss with Gaethje, a lot of deep stuff. You guys know Mike Chandler. He's very I fuck with Mike heavy, dude. Have you guys all got a chance to listen to the episode? Breaking everything down? I know, JP, you were sick. Have you listened to all of it?
Oh, yeah. I listened to all of it.
That's a good interview. The way he talks about just his perspective on pretty much everything. The way he can see like the positivity in absolutely everything. The way the dude just grinds and cuts weight all his entire life. But that was a really cool interview. You guys will like that a lot. And then we'll have JP come up here, deal of the week. The deal of the week will happen. And we'll talk about what's going to happen this weekend for the holiday sale. We got a lot of cool stuff. We have some tier rankings. Last year, we had a big victory Monday on Cyber Monday, and I had hopped on my phone, was going in to get my victory latte, going to Starbucks, and I ended up saying, hey, anybody who buys a piece of merch, I'm going to send you guys a personalized video. Had no clue we would have hundreds of submissions, and then I'm like backed into a corner because I'm in the middle of like playing ball. And even the next week when I'm sending out videos, I had like a rough first series against the Colts. And so it just made it even worse. And to make it worse, Carter Vrabel, Coach Vrabel's son, DMs me saying like, hey, we bought merch for the sale. Make a video and send it. And like, shout out Coach Vrabel and stuff like that. And I'm like messaging back and forth with Carter saying like, bro, I just had a shaky first series. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I haven't seen Braves yet. Like, I don't even know if he wants to see a video from me on Bussin' with the Boys. Hey, Coach Braves, I appreciate the support, man, blah, blah, blah. But we have a tier system going on this year so we can protect all of these submissions. But you'll get to hear from some of the boys. The boys are going to be involved. I'm going to be involved again, of course, very heavily. Taylor will be involved a little bit because, we're not going to blame anybody, but there were some, we fumbled a couple bags on getting people videos last year, and we're not going to say names. I got all mine done, but we're not going to say names. But before we get into it, this episode is, of course, always brought to you by Chevy, the Chevrolet Silverado, the best truck on the planet. It's football season. We're in the thick of it, boys. It's time to up your tailgating game. Fall means football and tailgating. It's time to up your tailgating game again with the strongest, most advanced Silverado on the planet. The available multi-flex tailgate with 6 convenient configurations. Let me say that again. 6 convenient configurations on a tailgate. That'll give you a step up on your tailgating game. There's the primary tailgate, which you guys obviously all know about, opens up with the push of a button and on the key fob from the inside of your truck. The inner gate folds down into a large step to easily get in and out of the bed. So if your knees are bad, your ankles are bad like myself, you'll need that step to get up and out of the bed. There's also an easy access configuration where the inner gate folds down, allowing you to reach farther into the bed. My old man, he struggles like jumping in the tailgate of a bed for whatever reason, so he can slide in, reach a little bit farther now. It can also become a desk. The boys now, I backed the Chevy Silverado in at the bus stop, and the boys now, they just flip the tailgate back. It becomes a desk for them. They put their iPads and their laptops and everything else, and they work off the surface of the tailgate. The Chevy Silverado, modern, advanced, a ton of grit, a partner with getting things done, and the Silverado is strong, dependable, just you guys all know the characteristics of what it takes to be sitting in a Chevy Silverado. This episode is about that. Our guest, Michael Chandler, he is, of course, built like a Chevy Silverado. The strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. All right, let's get into it, boys. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the North County Raiders advancing to the semifinals of the high school Missouri State playoff?
Give it up for the boys.
Yeah, the boys. So my hometown, Bon Terre, Missouri. Shout out everybody in Bon Terre, Missouri. Bon Terre means good earth in French. The boys are 12-1. They won the quarterfinals. We weren't sure. They were playing against Bussin, a city team, predominantly black. Not that race matters, but just getting all the facts out there. When you're a predominantly white school going against a black football team, there's a little, like, I'm speaking from my own experience. When I was in high school, we played Normandy, we played New Madrid. There's a little bit of that, all right, what are we going to get? But, you adapt, you improvise, you overcome. The boys end up winning that game. I think it was 45-24, maybe. It was something like that. It was 25-0. I'm sitting there, dude, and it is hilarious being back home. I'm sitting there in the stands. And, you guys, if for those who don't follow me, you guys should obviously follow me on all platforms. I posted the video everywhere. But the crowd, man. Hey, the crowd, bro. Like, it was almost unbearable at times. We're up 25-0 on these boys, and it's like these dudes are yelling left and right in the stands like the refs are throwing the game. The first dude, ref, hey, the ref getting in your ear over there, ain't you, ref? Man, it's good to be home.
Letting them get in your ear over there, are you, Rob?
Football's a rough sport!
We got there at the same time.
Come on, Rob! That was a perfect hit! It's called football! Come on! Damn it, Blue! That judges should be in soccer!
Is he okay?
And dude, we couldn't help it. I'm with my boy, the Biscuit, Brad LeBrot, my family, Charo. We're all sitting there, and we're just cringing at times. But everybody just yelling at these refs. Like, imagine being a high school ref. Were any of your guys' parents like that?
No.
Be honest.
God, no.
My mom yells a little bit. You got to put her in her place every now and then because it's like, hey, you mom, you don't know what you're talking about right now, mom. Like, hey, let's calm it down. But dude, it was hilarious being back. I feel bad because one dude's dad's up there just going nuts the entire game, and I won't say names, but the player, that was his old man, and I'm just like, dude, imagine if your dad is just like that every game, just yelling from the bleachers all the time. Like, that shit is embarrassing. But hey, everybody takes that shit serious in old Bon Terre, Missouri.
You in 10 years, you're that dad.
Yeah, just from the top of the bleachers screaming, "Damn it, Blue, you're cheating, my boys." We had one dude yelling. I didn't get that on video, but one dude really was yelling like, "How much is Vashon paying you? How much is Vashon paying you?" And we were winning the game heavily, but
Just looking for problems.
no, just looking for issues. It was funny, but no, it was good to be back home, man. Hit all the watering holes, hit all the spots to eat. You got your Dairy Queen, you got your Hardee's, you got your Hub's Pub. You know what I'm saying? We got a new spot called Bullpen, arcade and stuff, big screens. I'm sitting there telling the boys like, man, if I had this in high school, hey, that's where I'll be, man. But I'm fired up for the boys, man. They might go to state first time since '97. Really, only time since '97.
How far did y'all go when you went? You
The furthest you went.
Furthest I went was the quarterfinals. This game that they were just in. We were 12-0, and we lost the quarterfinals, going 12-1.
They lost, so they didn't pass you, and
I wouldn't have been upset.
it's selfish.
No, I'm just kidding. I really was rooting for him hard because Wyatt, my little brother, he's a coach on the football team. So I'm like, wanting him to advance and go as far as he can. They're having a lot of fun, but I was fired up for the boys, man. They might go. I don't know where they play it. They used to play it in the Edward Jones Dome back when the St. Louis Rams had the dome, but I want to say they either. I think they play in Mizzou. So that would be insane, dude.
That week of Thanksgiving practice is so much fun too.
Yeah,
Like
hell yeah. Are you talking about in high school?
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah, because it's you're getting at the end of the year. You're like at their level, taking care of their bodies. You're like doing walkthroughs and stuff, and you think you're so sweet because you're in the playoffs doing walkthroughs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've earned it. Like, man, you walk around school.
Uppers one day.
Yeah, uppers one day. Yeah, man, coach is showing love, man. Walking around school a little bit different with a little limp in your step.
Get the Thanksgiving talk. Hey, don't go too hard on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. But hey, that's the best. Like we were at bullpen the night before, and there's actually a lot of some of the players were there, and their parents and stuff were there, and you know how the parents play their role in either cooking for the team or something like everybody's playing a certain part. Hey man, tomorrow at 9 a.m. if you want to come and eat breakfast with the team in the back gym, you guys are cooking breakfast for them at the school, and they're like, yeah. It's like, damn. Live it up, man, because it ain't nothing but babies and memories after high school ball, man. Ain't nothing after senior year. What is that off of Friday Night Lights? Ain't nothing but, hey, go out there and get you one of these, man. Ain't nothing but babies and memories. Ain't nothing but babies and memories. Smile for the camera, sweetheart. It's like this old player. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, maybe it's just not a good story. Maybe I'm not telling it good. But smile for the camera, sweetheart. Hands off his kid. He's wearing his championship ring in high school. Yeah. Let's get into it, man. The Titans. The boys dropped. Well, how long was their winning streak, though?
Drop?
The boys dropped. They fumbled the bag. They dropped the ball, man. They lost yesterday.
Okay, yeah, but did we drop in like?
No, we were up a game and a half. We could afford to lose that game.
Okay, so.
Hey, we're on the same team. We're on the same team. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? I know
You
it's.
just said we dropped the bag.
We dropped a game.
We're still up. How much?
Yeah, I got you. I'm trying to just lay some context before we get into Man of the People. I'm just letting you know we're on the same team, Garrett. I get it. You got to question me a little bit. I'm not as diehard as somebody who grew up and lived here and went through all the trials and tribulations of Titans football. But the boys lost, and in a tough fashion. I will say the positive is they're still in that game with 5 turnovers. They're still in the game with 5 turnovers. And I want to say, I was reading a couple things that the Texans scored 12 points or 13 points out of all of their turnovers. And outside of that, like the points they actually earned, they only had like 1 actual yard on those drives. Also, another stat I read out there was in their last several possessions, maybe it was 6, they had 0 first downs and 7 yards total. So it's, the boys did lose. The boys lose. It's not like they looked insane on offense, but it was raining hard. Vrabel standing there dramatically standing in the rain, just letting the drops just hit him, not wiping his face at all, not asking for a towel, not like running his hand through his hair, nothing, just knowing the camera's on him, just letting the downpour hit him. But let's hear from the people, man. Man of the People segment. We have Garrett. Obviously, you guys have already been hearing from Passionate Garrett back there. Already questioning my loyalty.
For queuing up the top.
Yeah. Hey, the boys, they
Let's
drop.
talk about the Titans.
Yeah.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
Why did it sound like we're in last place now?
He goes, let's talk about the Titans, man. We dropped one. What did we drop?
Chill.
Yeah, we dropped a game. We went from 2 losses to 3 losses, man. We are the best 3-loss team in the league.
Oh, there it is.
See, that's why I question you, because you bring in those things.
2 weeks ago.
Do you not think we're the best 3-loss team in the NFL right now?
Well, I think we're the best team in the NFL regardless.
Yeah, I understand. We got to have.
Fold.
No, I'm not folding. I'm trying to be rational. I can't just have blind loyalty.
The way you teed it up was this we were in last place now.
No.
That's how you teed it up.
Who are you following on Twitter to make you
Hold on,
project
that's
this
not
way?
wild for him to do that though.
All Titans fans jump off the bridge like that. For him to
you
queue
could
it up
swear
like
it was
that.
week one last year.
Okay.
That's a
What
fair
bridge?
point.
Garrett, you were over. You were 0-17 after the Jets.
What?
I was still swinging the sword when you were ready to quit on the boys after they lost to the
You were
Jets.
swinging swords for the Raiders,
Oh,
the
because
football team.
Still is.
yeah, it still am. What are you talking about? Washington football team won the game.
I don't know why I'm being attacked.
You started it.
You came out with the knife. What do you mean?
Well,
I'm trying to run a kid's show, and you come out.
You teed it up like we're in Nebraska's category now.
Whoa! Just hang on. Let's turn the volume down.
Give me a mic.
The mic hears you, bro. We got a new boom mic now.
All
Things
right.
are going well.
Whatever.
Listen, the tone.
He stands up, talking to the mic.
So the tone of my voice, it really puts you off. Is what you're saying?
I just don't. I mean,
I
yeah,
don't
we
think you
lost
like
it.
dropped.
What'd you say, Alex?
I don't think you like the word dropped. Sorry to cut you off, Garrett.
Was it the tone of my voice?
No, I think it was just a little more dramatic than it actually. Like,
You got to
is.
paint. You got to paint a dramatic scene if people are going to listen to the show.
Okay.
We lost yesterday, bro.
I know.
We lost, and I was just dropping
get
some.
it.
I was dropping some good stats and facts on how, like, all the stuff that happened, and we're still in that ball game.
I'm on the same page as you, but you just made it sound like we moved to last place in the AFC.
I don't think I did. I don't think I made it seem. I think I made it seem like
Hey,
we were
dropped.
we dropped the game.
We lost the game. We're 8-3.
I didn't say, hey, the boys are down bad right now, man. We lost the game yesterday. I didn't say we're down bad.
We'll check the tape. We'll check the tape. We'll check the tape.
We'll check the tape. We got the tape. Everybody in the joining the chat right now,
Rewind. Go check that tape.
For our Man of the People segment, Jack, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough loss. I feel like we just 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Always putting ourselves in this position. It was such an ugly game, ugly weather. Tannehill obviously is probably his worst game as a Titan, and I'm not off the Tannehill train at all. You know, people have bad games, 4 picks, it's tough. Chester Rogers, that drop punt was so big.
Oh, that was
On the
crucial,
5-yard
man.
line.
I feel for him too, because you know, like he's trying to like hit the dude. Like you're trying not to allow the punt team to catch it
Right.
to make a good play on the ball. He's trying to hit him and knock him out of the way, like everybody does.
Just a bad bounce, I guess, bad field placement for himself. But you know what happens. Can't say that Downing was calling the best plays either. I think it was just a combined loss. I put most of the blame on myself. I was driving back from a wedding and wasn't able to attend the game, so I think it really comes down on me. So I'll take this L for the city.
Respect.
Put it on my back. We have a huge game, probably the biggest game of our season. I don't know, though. That 49ers game is getting more and more interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
49ers are looking dangerous. So are the Colts. Do we want to speak on what we wanted to talk about earlier?
No, I just want you to finish your thought on just let's keep Titans first.
Yeah, big game.
Because you're displaying a lot of courage, taking ownership and accountability for this loss, and I don't want you to waver off that right now.
Both sides of the coin, you know. We have Garrett, we have me. We're one, so we got to play it from all angles.
You guys are passionate, man.
Great example.
Yeah,
How much
I'm
is
the
like,
king of the hill that I die on.
It was, I think everyone,
graphic.
as a Titans fan, it was disappointing, but
Photoshop me on
I don't
Jermaine Curse.
think anyone was overly shocked that we took a loss to currently the worst team in the NFL.
Trap game.
We are the trap game victims of
We gave them
the
the ball.
year. And it hurts even worse, the whole Keyshawn Johnson thing.
Mhm.
I know he was just chilling, having a drink last night, just eating it up.
So it's fair to say he moved in a little bit in your head.
Oh yeah, I'm paying him rent,
Yeah.
What did he say? I didn't see it.
He just said they're not a real 8-2 team.
8-2 team, and like all
Joke's
Titans
on him,
Twitter
we're
went
8-3.
after him, and then we prove him right. I don't know. So yeah,
But how much is like, and this is a
Who did he
question
play
for you
for?
and Will, I guess too, because like
Raiders and Bucks.
if you
Wait, not Raiders. Bucks.
Lions.
Keyshawn Johnson?
he played for the Jets.
Played for the Panthers too.
Shit, maybe he hit on the
Yeah,
whole
he couldn't
Bucks.
stay on the
The
team.
Bucks.
Wait, who's Keyshawn?
Hey, he couldn't do his job there either.
Wasn't he on the Bucks?
Yeah, he was with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't a loss like this sometimes a good thing too? Because you go on this streak where you beat like the top teams in the NFL, and maybe you're feeling yourself a little bit. I'm not saying that's what the Titans did, but it's always kind of nice to just get like a hit the hard reset. It's like, hey, let's just refocus and just kind of move forward instead of just going on this massive winning streak and burning out at the end.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they're always good for you to have one. I mean, obviously we needed the first game of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were on a heater. It's not like I don't feel like the Titans were in a spot where they were feeling themselves at all because they've been without Derrick Henry and they're trying to find it out, us as fans finding an identity on offense without Derrick Henry. But they've been facing adversity all year long. Like
Fifth string running back was in yesterday.
Right. And knowing Vrabel, like you truly never feel like you're winning. You know what I mean? He always does a good job of keeping everybody level headed. He shows a horse video to put show that horses have these narrow blinders on. And the league is built for 8-8. Well, at the time, now it's built for 8-9, 9-8, whichever one. But who's going to come out at the end? It's all about how you do in November, December, stuff like that. So, I guess it just depends. I know if we're in that position, I happen to be on the team. It's not like we're sitting there feeling like we're the best team in the league. We're feeling good that we can win in a lot of different ways with 80-something injuries that they've had. They've dealt with a lot of shit. So it's not like they're a team that's sitting there hanging their hat on the same thing every week. They're finding different ways to win all the time. But obviously, it's always interesting. It's just fascinating seeing the Twitter world burn after the Titans lose a game because it's like the 0-17 simulation begins. You know what I mean? I saw Buck Rising had a post. What loss feels worse, the Texans or the Jets? And people were saying the Texans, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Everyone was ready to cut off everyone's head after the Jets game and losing to the Jets. But it's always interesting, dude. The boys are going to bounce back. They do have a tough game coming up with the Patriots. The Patriots are looking good.
If we can beat the Patriots, I think that this loss this week will be quickly forgotten.
Oh, it always is.
If we lose the Patriots, then
once you winning cures everything. Yeah. You're back on track.
If you could win before going into a bye.
That's the big thing too. They're playing a good team. Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Right. Instead of dropping 2 before going into a bye, it's definitely a different feeling. But yeah, dude, I was gonna say something. I forget what we were talking about.
Yo, as a non-football guy.
Yeah, what do you think, Alex, being a non-football guy?
How are you a team that is clearly a very good football team, and yet you play to the level of your competition almost week in and week out? How does that happen? Like, how do you rise to the occasion against like the better teams in the league, and then you play against the teams that are bottom of the barrel, and it's like we play that level too? Like, how does that happen? Is that a culture thing? Like, what are they just missing Will Compton? Like,
no, well, being in that culture, it's definitely not a culture thing. Well, number one, it's the NFL. Literally everyone can be beat, dude. Mm-hmm. Like you see upsets all the time in the NFL. I think if that was happening in college, I think that's way more valid because they're kids like thinking like, oh, we have a huge game this week, and then they're sleeping on some team next week. In the NFL, you never really have that feeling. Talking with some of the boys last week, like no one had a feeling that it was like we have to take care of business this week. Like you never feel comfortable in the NFL, like with an NFL schedule. If you're a losing team and you're losing a lot of games, you look ahead in all your games, and obviously you're a bad team, so everybody you're looking at on your schedule is good to you. But even when you're winning, in the fashion that the boys were winning in, they knew they were playing like complimentary football. The defense was playing well against the Rams. Like they know they can't just show up and win games. Like they very much know that. So I don't. You say that, and it's interesting because I was listening to Part of My Take. Shout out to boys at Part of My Take earlier, but they were saying in the money lines, anytime that they've lost 14 out of 17 games when they're playing against an underdog, like when the Titans aren't an underdog. So it's interesting you bring that up. Just speaking from my own experience, it's not like I sit there and we're about to play the 1-8 Texans and I think, oh, we got this one in the bag. And again, with all the stuff we know about the Titans and what their year has been like, the boys definitely, you're not comfortable going in really in any game because, again, you're still trying to figure stuff out offensively without Derek. You got so many new bodies coming in. I mean, it's like a merry-go-round in there right now. Do they have the record yet?
No, I want to say 3 players. We were 4 players last week. It was 80, and the record's 84, and I think we subbed out one guy this week, so it's 81.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is the record in the NFL is 84 injuries, right?
No,
84
different people on the
players to be
roster.
on
84 different players on the 53-man roster throughout a season, and the Titans are currently sitting at, we believe it's 81 now after this last week. But with all this stuff going on, dude, like, you're never feeling comfortable.
Well, yesterday was a game that, with the weather, you would like to win on the ground.
100%,
And
for sure.
We were in the air so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought Foreman was running the ball well too, and then all of a sudden it was like no more Foreman. We were. I don't know.
Where did AP go halfway through the game?
I don't know. We were driving back, so I was trying to keep up with the game on YouTube TV, like in the spotty drive back. No, you just don't get the full effect.
Terrible.
But it was tough.
You gotta watch the road.
Yeah. I'm trying to drive and the Chevy Silverado. No, I made my pregnant wife drive. I drove until it was noon. We hit a gas station. I asked her, "Hey, baby, you mind taking the wheel?" She drove after throwing up because of, sickness, pregnancy sickness.
MVP.
I got work. I got a game.
Hey, sweetheart, if you don't mind, I got to work right now. Just watching the game. Damn, get on Twitter. Washington football team won 27-21. Shouts out to the boys. Hail to the boys. That's the one win we have. It's crazy that we don't want to clap. Jack and Garrett are just down bad, dude.
Nod my head.
He said, "Yeah, they won. Thank God they were the only team. I almost got swept, but I would have rode on the North County Raiders, the high school team. No, that was always in my back pocket. And the fact that the Washington football team won and Cam Newton's back on the Panthers."
Hey, that picture.
And I was looking at that photo. I was like, man, this junk is going to be hilarious. The Raiders lost to the Bengals. I don't know what's going on. We don't get their. I only have YouTube TV, and we don't get their games, so I don't really know what's happening with the boys in Vegas. I know people are losing their minds because it seems like the Raiders always fall apart in the middle of the year. It happened when I was there. I don't really know what happened before me, but I hate it for them, dude, because they got a lot of good dudes on that team. They got a good head coach, right? I was gonna say right now. They've always had, in my eyes, a good staff outside of you guys know who that I talked about last year on the podcast. But they had a lot of good dudes on that team, so I don't really know what's happening in Vegas. Maybe it's the Vegas.
Falling apart, yeah.
Maybe it's the Vegas stuff. They lost both their first-round picks this year, didn't they? Did they have 2 first-round picks this year?
The year before.
Or they've lost they've lost their last 2 first-round picks because it was Ruggs and then that corner. The Ruggs on that DUI, good night, dude. He's looking at 20 years? 25? Yeah, Bloss, you would know more than me. Yeah. And then that other dude, that corner, arguing with some troll on Instagram, pointing a gun, saying "I'll kill you, drop your addy."
It wasn't like a pistol either, man. This shit was hard.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
What are we doing? What are we trying to prove?
Some people are just.
I don't know if we need to go down that road.
Yeah. Well, it's not like you can get canceled off talking about anything like that.
Want to try?
Yeah, I can figure it out. Right?
Want to test that?
Don't point a gun at your phone, your selfie camera, threatening a dude's life.
Yeah.
Nebraska lost to Wisconsin.
As expected.
Why is that as expected?
Because you've only won 3 games.
Can the mic pick hit that up?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Why is that as expected?
Wisconsin was the favorite for sure. Why would Nebraska beat Wisconsin? They haven't beat anybody.
They've almost beat a lot.
Thank you, Jack. They've almost beat a lot of fucking teams.
Hang your hat on it. Almost.
You can. Now there's data coming out. There's statistics coming out. You guys are fucking laughing.
Steady show.
There's statistics coming out.
That we are, though. We are the best 3-win team that the sport has ever seen.
I did see that tweet. But I'm just saying, nobody was expecting y'all to beat Wisconsin.
No one was expecting, but people who've been following Nebraska all year long, like us, I think it's bullshit that you're saying that was expected. Nebraska's played up every time they've played a top 10 team.
Yeah,
and so what? They should have won. And hey, I know I sound like a broken fucking record, dude, but they should have at least been. Oh no, we just almost had a light fall down. The lights just went out.
Heads are falling off.
Quit shaking the bus,
The
Will.
cameras, we're about to fight.
Yeah.
Will shake.
I'm getting worked up. The camera almost fell back there. The light went off. But okay, I'm not gonna say we should have won the Wisconsin game, but we should have had a chance at the end of the game because that pass interference was bullshit, and you know it. Did you guys see the game?
Which one? Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I watched a little bit.
Did you watch that last play?
No.
What was the final score? Was it a wedding?
35-28.
Oh, so it was.
It was tight for sure.
We were driving in the last drive.
The way JP was talking, I thought it was like,
No,
Well, because
it was
JP's
a
trying to fire me
classic-
up.
It was a classic.
He's trying to
Nebraska
dig a
game
little
for
bit.
Sure.
It was a classic 2021 Nebraska football
I will
game.
say
No one battling.
I was cheering, obviously for the Huskers, but then Wisconsin scored, and the color combo. I got hyped for a second, realized.
We were legitimately. Big Cat even tweeted too. We are the best worst team in college football.
Did y'all have a bet going?
No, we texted a little bit beforehand, and he said, "Just remember, we're still friends after this game." But it's just nuts. It's just crazy to me, dude. It's like it's fun to say we're the best 3-win team in the country, but we really just can't catch a break. Can you? You are getting toward the end. Can you go toward the end? It's literally the last play of the game.
What do you think it is? Why are they not finishing games?
Refs.
Special teams. How are they?
It's that attitude is why they're not finishing games. That's probably what those players.
Shut the
are
fuck
saying.
up, JP.
Instead of taking ownership.
No, the players know that I'm going to die on the hill for them.
Right.
Bon Terre. Refs.
Hey, get in your ear over there, ain't the ref?
Shut that and cut it over to them.
Where is this play?
I don't know, man. Special teams for sure. I don't want to throw them under the bus, but special teams for sure.
I'm not gonna say
I'm a huge
we did have some defensive lapses, like on these big runs. It was giving me, the sweats thinking about our games versus Wisconsin back in the day. And that's the problem too. Like Wisconsin definitely owns a piece of my brain forever, because they've had so many rushing yards on us throughout all of time. I want to say they had over 600 on us in the Big Ten championship game.
Who was running the rock?
3 different running backs. Who was it? Melvin Gordon, James White, and Monty Ball.
Just 3.
Just
studs.
3 studs, dude. And they had over 600 the next year on us. When Bo lost his mind, we were up like 17-0, and Melvin Gordon hurdled somebody. I forget who. I don't know if it was. No, it wasn't me. I was on. Hey, I was on Washington at this time. So yeah, that right there. Pause that. Yeah, I was in the league. I was in my hotel room. Melvin Gordon came out to Washington, ran me over my hotel room, dude. That's how bad it was. But he hurdles our safety and takes it to the house, and Bo's just losing his mind on the sideline. And we're about to go into halftime of 17-7. So keep your composure. Nah. Not my man, Coach Bo. Yeah. Hold my clipboard. Yeah. But I don't know. I know Scott was after the press conference. He's like, we need to stop. It's like a mentality of hoping you win the game other than expecting to win, which is hard to create when you're like, obviously behind the 8 ball. The last several years that we've been, they don't really know what winning is like, but we just can't catch a fucking break. Here's the PI, by the way.
Absolutely PI, and one knows it sitting on the floor right there too. He's waiting for a flag.
Right. Coming from a non-football guy, Alex. Unbiased non-football guy.
No, because I'm not a football guy, but if I was to look at this, that's what I'd say.
Are you seeing this right now, Jack?
Yeah, I can see a little bit.
You want me to move the TV?
Nah, I got it.
I'll watch the episode.
Now watch from the side, though. Watch from the side when they actually slow it down. Look. Ball wasn't even there.
Game is not won or lost on one play.
100. You are right. But to cheat the boys out of like an opportunity to win.
If I was a fan, I'd be frustrated. I'd also like to go on record saying I do think Scott Frost is the man for the job. I do think he's going to turn it around.
I like seeing him ready to swing on the referee at the end of the game. He was literally trying to get after him. Who's the Men in Black looking dude too, who just stands there with the shades on and holds him back? He's got like some bodyguard that stays fully suited in all black with black shades on too. Jeremiah.
Earls.
Yes.
Your own friend?
Yeah, Jeremiah. We play Iowa this week. Huge game. This is a big rivalry. I actually would like to see us break the greatest 3-win team of all time against Iowa.
I think Iowa's cursed. I think who knows?
This is a big game. We got to get a bet going with George.
Is it at home?
We might have to do a video, what we did last year.
Yeah.
Although it would suck if we lost. And I have to do the video. Maybe I can find a different route if I lose. Is Iowa ranked 17?
Yeah.
It'll be a close one.
Is it at home or is it away?
I think
You're at home.
Home.
I'm sorry.
At Iowa.
At Iowa.
We're at Iowa. Pretty much home. It's Nebraska versus Iowa, man. You know what Iowa stands for, JP?
I don't.
You want to take a guess?
I don't know.
Idiots out wandering around.
Dang.
I know it's tough. Nebraska and Iowa got a little thing going on. It's like who has the best corn, who have the best cattle.
Yeah.
What?
I said now we got to come up with something for Nebraska.
Just a long.
You are at home. My bad. Yeah.
We're at home.
Yeah.
I apologize for Alex. He put at Iowa on the screen. Didn't do his homework.
We're going bowling.
South Carolina is doing well. I mean,
We're going bowling
yeah, you guys will go bowling.
Just beat Auburn.
to play.
Auburn's not that
For
good.
people that don't know, Will came into the bus the other day, and we started getting to the argument, and the first thing he did was get nose to nose with me.
That's true. I can vouch for that.
It tried to intimidate me, but it didn't work.
That's because JP was mad he missed out on the argument with Darius Rucker on who's better out of South Carolina and Nebraska. You can make the argument a little more now just because your guys' record, but I'll die on the hill that we're better in South Carolina because you guys beat an Auburn team that's not that good. You can. Oh, we beat. Did you guys beat Florida?
They were the start.
Oh yeah, yeah. How's Florida doing?
Dan Mullen.
Fired their coach.
0-5 against the last Power 5 teams.
And you're saying, oh, they almost beat Alabama. Alabama's not looking that nice. They're not looking like the Alabama that we know.
I don't want to play Ohio State.
That's what I'm saying. That's not like they're.
Wait for this game.
So your argument on we beat Florida and Florida almost beat Alabama is pretty much washed.
Those were two different Florida teams too.
Yeah, Florida before
So then your whole season is washed.
Look at our
How?
Because y'all almost won all these games.
all of our games except for one.
2. You said Illinois and
I go back and forth on Illinois. In this argument, Illinois is back in that we should have won that
At
game.
what point though do we look at the Big Ten and say if Nebraska is competing with all of these teams, is Wisconsin really that good? Is Michigan really that good? Is Michigan State really that good?
Michigan State's obviously not that
Nebraska.
I guess we'll see in bowl season when it's Big Ten versus SEC.
good. They should always do that. Wouldn't that be
Always.
sick?
Yeah.
We'll see, because there'll be some games where they're mixed up.
Yeah.
Because again, a 1-point victory over Vanderbilt is nothing to stand on the hill for.
I hope we play a Big Ten team in the bowl season. It won't be y'all, but hopefully.
Yeah, it won't be us. We're not going bowl. We'll be in winter
Playing
conditioning.
Bon Terre.
Hey, we'll be in winter conditioning by that time. All right, let's get into the Black Friday sale. Our new merch that's out. Because what time are we on right now?
40 minutes.
Oh shit.
You can cut my part out.
All right, so this Friday, well, let's talk about the merch. I'm going to talk about the merch, and then the boy JP is going to go over deal of the week, and then we'll dive into what some of those details are. But as you guys can tell, I'm wearing some new merch right here. New hoodies, and these are not like the hoodies. You guys have been getting those hoodies are phenomenal, but those are printed on it with ink. These are, you guys can't feel these, but we'll have some photos. You can feel, I'm going to be honest, I have no clue what I'm trying to say right now. But
Keep saying it though.
you can feel stuff on the material that it's not going to, what I'm trying to say is, it's not going to scratch off. It's not going to fade out. It's not going to do none of that. It's got a nice weight to it, and it's fitted. Like, I don't know if you guys see, like, I'm looking stout right now, and it's fitting to me nice. It fits to you kind of like a Roback hoodie. Nice, fitted, versatile. Also, this is an XL. I'm usually, like on those 100% cotton ones, I usually got to go up to 2X, double X. Put it in the wash one time, and it gets down to where it's fitted. This is an XL and fits to me nice. I've already washed it. No issues, no problems. This hat that I'm wearing. These are my favorite hats. This one, and then Where's the other cream one? JP was wearing it, but he looked funny in it.
Garrett's got it on.
Garrett's got it on. But these hats right here, we just came out because our patch hats, our navy patch hats were like our best-selling hats. So we got them in different colors now. So you can get them in red, you can get them in cream. They're banger. Plenty of new hoodies, dude. We got the Bussin' with the Boys, the maroon and cream. And for people who listen only and aren't watching, number one, you should go watch. And also while you're watching, leave comments. But in these hoodies, these new hoodies, there's 3 different color variations. But in the hood, what would you guys say, guys?
Liner.
There's a liner. There's a printed liner with our Bussin' with the Boys logos inside the hood. So it's not just a plain, gray on the inside of a gray hoodie. This is like a navy blue with Bussin' with the Boys logo liner on the inside of a gray hoodie. And then the strings are different colors. So that's cool. If you got cool shoes, like some stuff that accents the strings on your hoodie. Yeah. It's gonna be a phenomenal holiday weekend sale. With new merchandise coming out. And we are also, shout out to boy Mike Stud. We are officially doing a collaboration with Chuck Buds. We have Bussin' with the Boys and For the Boys Chuck Buds coming to life. And that is compliments of Mike hitting the boys up wanting to do a collaboration. That's going to be heavy hitter. And there's only a certain value, there's only a certain quantity we have with those. So they're going to, I can only assume they're going to go fast. College kids are probably dying to get these Chuck Buds in their life. We interrupt this episode to talk to you about the most comfortable boots in the world. Georgia Boot. Shout out the boys at Georgia Boot. No free shout outs. America's hardest working boot. And for over 80 years, Georgia's been making boots that work as hard as you do. Tough enough for your job. Cool enough for everything else. Like wearing at Thanksgiving. Georgia Boot makes super good looking and super comfortable boots. So comfortable, you never want to take them off. The boys like looking good. And even when we're working, these boots, what an abomination of an ad read right now. I don't know. Okay. I don't know what's happening. These boots will hold up in any condition without sacrificing comfort. It has the comfort technology of an athletic shoe packed into a great looking boot. So great looking and so wildly comfortable at a price you can actually afford. Every time we're wearing these boots, everybody's always asking us at the tailgates, where are you getting them boots, man? GeorgiaBoot.com, bro. Whether you're working on your feet all day, working around the house, or grilling out with your friends, these boots won't sacrifice comfort or style. They offer the best work boots, wedges, and loggers around. Whether you need a waterproof boot, steel toe, soft toe, square toe, Met guard, slip sole, they've got it all. Head over to GeorgiaBoot.com and use code BUSSIN, BUSSIN, for a generous 20% off for the holidays. All right, JP, come up here. You can do deal of the week, and then we can get into some of the things that we're going to do, and then we'll jump into the mic interview.
That's how I'm just doing the grand prize, right?
Yeah.
Just, dabble. Say what you want. Speak from the heart.
South Carolina.
Yep,
No.
I knew that was coming.
Yes, so the deal of the week. All of this merch. Actually, let me restart. I was with Jack and Garrett this past weekend, and we were out, and there was probably at least 100 people that came up to them, and they were wearing these Christmas sweaters. They were like, bro, where did y'all get these? Like, y'all look so handsome, all of this stuff.
Because we didn't have them for sale either.
Right, they weren't for sale. Jack and Garrett were like, they're not for sale right now, man. But usually they are however much they cost, $45. They were like, dang, if these were 20% off, I would get them. Will, nobody can see Will on the camera right now, but all of these stuff will be 20% off for Black Friday. And once you order anything on the website, you get put into a a raffle.
You gotta submit it. You gotta submit that order confirmation to the email.
Submit your order confirmation to the email.
Info@bussinwtb.com.
Info@bussinwtb.com.
Don't butcher your deal of the week.
Well, I'm trying to get it right.
Yeah, you should have it right. You should have been studying this.
I know, but I don't know the email.
Should Alex do the deal of the week?
Hey, he can do it. He can step up.
I'm just kidding, man.
Yes.
Last time we saw JP.
So you email at, what is it? At
Look on the
Bussin.
screen, bro.
I don't see the email. Info@bussinwtb.com. And you get put into the raffle, and you could get anything from a shirtless video of Jack.
Yep.
Possibly a day with Will in Nashville, Tennessee. You could get Garrett playing you a guitar solo. You could get Applebee's after 9 with me.
Ooh.
Tons of things.
Ride along with Bloss?
Yeah, ride along with Bloss at work. That we're still trying to get that cleared by the police department.
When does it start?
It starts at 12 a.m. on Friday and it ends at 11:59 p.m. on Monday. So starts the beginning of Black Friday, ends the end of Cyber Monday.
So Thursday at midnight?
Thursday at midnight. Thursday at midnight to Monday at midnight.
Love it.
Deal of the week. See you, Will.
Thanks, man.
See you, Will.
You get to walk out of the tunnel with Taylor alone.
Yeah. You get to play running back for the Titans?
So yeah, deal of the week. That was a great job, JP. 20% off Bussin' with the Boys. You go to the Barstool merch store and click on the brand Bussin' with the Boys. And midnight Thursday after Thanksgiving to midnight the next Monday, from Black Friday to Cyber Monday, you'll have 20% off the entire store at the Barstool Sports Store. It's barstoolsports.com/
No, it's store.barstoolsports.
store.barstoolsports.com. And again, every purchase you have gets you a submission, right, to the raffle.
Yep.
So if you purchase anything, submit your order confirmation to the email info@bussinwtb.com, and you'll be submitted to all of the purchases. Enter you into a surprise giveaway. So like JP was saying, you might get a shirtless video, I guess, from Jack. Applebee's, late night Applebee's with JP. But we're working on some big giveaways. Game jerseys from myself and Taylor. Those are being dabbled. We're talking through those right now.
Live recording.
Right, sitting on the bus for a live recording. Tickets to a Titans game, tickets to any game. Oh, look at me just spewing that out there, not having no clue.
The sitting in on the thing, we're going to save it for the biggest spender for the weekend, right?
Yes. Still, everything's working title. Everything is work in progress. But yes, follow our page. You're going to see what the biggest spender gets. But yes, the biggest spender will get a chance to sit in on a Bussin' with the Boys episode. And then also the videos this year, we have a tier system, the tier 1s through tier 3s. To get personalized videos from our crew, you have to spend $75+ to get a video from one of the boys, Jack, Garrett, JP, Alex, or Bloss. You have to spend $150+ to get a video from myself, a personalized video from myself on thanking you and wishing you great holidays and all the fun stuff that you're going to hear from the soothing voice. And then to get a video from Taylor, you'll have to spend $300+ to get a video from Taylor. This won't, or I'll just be dressed up as Taylor and send you a video. So that way Taylor doesn't drop the bag or fumble the bag on anybody that got left out like last year. It won't exactly be like last year. Last year was, if you bought anything, we had people buying stickers just to get a video. And we had so many videos and not everybody got theirs. I think there were maybe 2 people that didn't get theirs, as far as we know on Twitter. But submit your order confirmation to info@bussinwtb.com. And you'll be in all that stuff. And again, we'll be posting about this stuff throughout the week. Follow our channels at Bussin WTB on Instagram and Twitter. Again, we'll be putting this info out there all week long. So just in case we got confusing on this video. Thanksgiving, man. Before we get into the episode, let's go around and do a little Thanksgiving tradition and talk about the things we're most grateful for.
Thankful for.
Grateful for, thankful for. Yeah.
Same.
A day of thanks, man. Would you guys like me to go first?
Yeah, kick it off.
All right. I gotta turn on my vulnerable hat. Get out of the laughing stuff. If I look at this last year, what are we laughing about? We're already feel like a joke. No, man, but one of the definitions of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I'm pretty sure Blosh just puts an extra layer of electrical tape every time it falls. Like, this will hold it. Just an extra layer. This will be it. All right. So what I'm grateful for, what I'm thankful for. I am thankful for. I'll start with stuff with this bus. I'm thankful for you guys, Jack, Garrett, JP, Bloss, Alex. We've had a wild year of ups and downs, and personally for me, a year of unknowns with football and everything else, not knowing how this podcast will be when I'm not playing football. And now we're in week 11 going into week 12, and I haven't been on a team yet. So in a year of like unknowns for me, there's definitely like fears and anxieties that have came with like, I'll be on a team, or this will happen for me, that'll happen. And, man, I've truly enjoyed this entire football season doing Bussin' with the Boys with you guys, the fans who partake in everything every single week with us. Like, it just brings me a lot of joy. And I'm like stress-free on weekends. Like a weekend goes by, in those first few weekends, you're definitely like, man, what might happen? You haven't received a call here yet. To getting a call and a couple things falling through. I don't know, man. I'm like thankful to understand that shit is okay on the other side of it if football doesn't, it continues to not work out for me. So yeah, dude, I'm thankful for you guys. That's my Bussin' with the Boys stitch. With friends and family, dude, I'm very much thankful for right now a very healthy daughter coming in late March with my wife. We just got married this year. So when I look back, getting married to my beautiful wife, Charo, having a baby girl on the way in March, and all things right now point to a very healthy baby. So I'm very thankful for that. Getting in our new house in January, that'll be awesome. Thankful for those things. Thankful for my friends and family. Again, a lot of stuff with like an unknown year and an up and down year and a lot of question marks. A lot of that stuff has helped me, just through therapy and you guys, dude. Not that I've been down bad like that, but when I really think about it, on why I feel so grateful for everything and why, I stay in a positive mood and everything, has a lot to do with who I've surrounded myself with. So I am thankful for you guys. And I'll credit to myself for not tearing up during that entire stage, because I felt my nostrils flare a couple times. But yeah, man, that's how I feel.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Who wants to go next? Who wants to put on the vulnerability hat now?
I'll go next. Do we have to go that long?
Go ahead, Alex. You don't have to go that long, though. You can keep it short. I just,
Mine's in the same vein. I'm thankful for the people that have stayed in my life, because I feel like they're in my life for a reason. That includes all you guys, obviously. And I think that we also need to be thankful for people that have not stayed in our lives to show us how important the ones who have stuck around really are. And I'm really thankful that I've kind of been able to cross paths with all you guys in whatever way. And like, we all kind of found our ways to this bus specifically in some interesting ways and connections and stuff. And yeah, I'm really thankful to just be surrounded by people who are working their ass off on stuff and working on, for the same reasons that I feel like I align myself with. So that's me.
Good stuff, man.
Thanks.
What do you got, Bloss?
Yeah, same thing. Obviously thankful for the bus and how hard everybody works, but how we've kind of started to mesh and kind of find our stride. Like, super thankful for that. It's definitely been a long road and a process and stuff, but I'm happy with the way things are going and trending. Also thankful for the community that we started to build on the outside. Just getting to interact with people on Twitter, but then seeing them at the tailgates and stuff like that.
Oh, it's the best, man.
Games. Like, that's been so cool, and the love that they've shown and embraced kind of the crew and not just the podcast in general has been awesome. So I'm super thankful for them. And then obviously thankful for my family and friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
And how they've been so patient in a year where, it's just been so busy for each and every one of us, the same way you talked about. Thankful for the people who just kind of stuck around. I think it says a lot to the people that support us and know just kind of like the grind that we kind of go through and how busy we are. They continue to stick by our side.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff, brother. JP?
Let's see. First, definitely thankful for the job, because up until this year, ever since I left school, I've been kind of trying to like figure everything out and just sort of was moving places I didn't know anybody and was like really just trying to make my own connections. And so it's just been like a super big blessing to come to Nashville for this. So thank you to Will and everybody that gave me the opportunity. And then also it's just been a crazy year, like in general in the world, I guess. So I'm thankful for my immediate family's health, and that everybody is still good and we haven't had any too crazy of losses within my own family. So that's what I got.
Nice, man. G?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to piggyback on everybody. I'm obviously thankful for this bus, everybody here. It has been a long year. I've learned a lot. I feel like we've all learned a lot through this bus, just ourselves. I'm thankful that I get to wake up every day. I just think that that's a blessing that sometimes people forget. Like JP said, I'm thankful for the health of my family. But yeah, just overall, like, I don't know, positive vibes.
Jack, last but not least.
Yeah, obviously the bus. Super thankful for Central AC. People forget we were in the barn or the garage at the beginning of this year, so it's cool to kind of see the progression and evolution of going from a real gritty generator style podcast to being a little bougie now. You know, we got some nice things.
We got some nice stuff.
Like these hoodies.
Yeah. Super thankful for this Black Friday sale coming up. 20% off. Don't know how I'd survive the holiday season without it. Really thankful for my friends and family. Garrett and I, we just had some of our close friends over last night for Friendsgiving. And
oh, nice, dude.
It's always cool to have all your best friends in one place. Just everyone bringing a dish, having some laughs, playing games, watching games. It's those small things you kind of take for granted when everyone's in the rush of it all. So to get to slow down and, you know, hug and have some drinks with your buddies is something I'll never take for granted. And my family especially, just getting to see my parents. I get to live in the same city as them. So being able to just kind of pop over and say what's up. Some people live far from home, and I know that's probably difficult for them. So definitely grateful I get to be around my parents as much as I can. Other than that, excited for this Michigan-Ohio State game coming up.
Yeah, you guys are going to do a banger, dude. That's going to be so sick.
We're going to go rep the boys.
And they're both playing well.
Yeah, it should be a good weekend. So hopefully everybody who's traveling this week, it's a busy travel week, safe travels, enjoy the family, try and just put the phone down, be present with everyone. Yeah. You know, hug here and there, a couple beers, be all right.
I love that, dude. Yeah, man, we definitely encourage everybody, like, when you're at all your Thanksgiving stuff, dude, looking at everybody and telling them why you appreciate them, I feel like is very powerful. And obviously you definitely get nervous talking to people in front of them and telling them how you feel, but it's what it's about, man. Like Jack said, everybody travel safe, be with your families, man, put your phone down, be present, and enjoy it, because, you know, for people being around their parents, who knows how many times you get to spend around your parents, you know, just in general, not that they're going to die soon, but how many times you count. I know for me, I've only been around my parents a few times a year at this point. Obviously you want it to be more, and you're trying to be intentional about it being more, but man, you just got to cherish all these memories you get while you have them now. Without further ado, let's get into this Michael Chandler episode. I won't even say the time, because who knows what we might edit out, but, on this Michael Chandler episode, you guys are going to love it. The boy is fucking awesome. Big hugs, sunny kisses. Go be a fucking wolf. All right, here we go. Hooters. Shout out Hooters. All the free shout outs to the gals over at Hooters. Hooters is your go-to spot for killer wings and ice cold beer, but football season means all the big games on all the big screens. And it is the only place that has world famous Hooters girls. They love football just as much as you do, and they're better looking than your friends. Hooters has game day specials to keep you hydrated and filled up on your Hooters favorites all season long. If you can't make it to Hooters for the game, you can still get your Hooters fix at home and save $10 with code Barstool, BARSTOOL, when you order online. Check out Hooters.com/Barstool for more details. Mike, what's up, dude? Welcome back to the show. Well, what is it, the fourth time?
Maybe fifth. I was co-host one time.
Yeah, cool, you know? That's true. Yeah, it is your fifth time.
Yeah. So, man, thanks for having breakfast with me.
How's your?
I told the boys nation that I was having breakfast with you.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Then we pod.
Yeah, your face is looking better.
It is looking better. My face was inside out.
Let's talk about the fight. Let's just get it. Yeah, let's just get the
cat out the bag. Yeah, no, my face was so I got a couple sets of stitches. Bree took them out here, and I actually had 4 inside my lip, but after eating and talking,
Do you have a photo of it? Did you take a photo?
I got a video. I'll show you.
We'll have to have something that Bloss can put up with as the YouTube show goes on.
You just got to blur out the doctor's name tag because Bree was like, you probably shouldn't have leaked that to TMZ.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, whatever.
Dude, how was the first, I don't know how long did it last, first 48 hours post-fight, when the adrenaline wears off and you start to feel everything that happened in the fight?
Yeah, so I was with Justin Gaethje in the hospital. We rode in simultaneous motorcade ambulances from, I've only ridden in 2 ambulances my entire life. Both were from Madison Square Garden to Bellevue High School or hospital in New York City. It was really, really painful. So my right foot, so Justin Gaethje was limping. So Justin Gaethje, the best leg kicker in the game, went to the hospital because of my leg kicks, which was kind of a nice little hat tip to myself.
Yeah, we can fucking applaud.
I'm not a big leg kick guy, you know. I'm not known for my leg kicks. So that was good, but because of that, the reason I don't throw leg kicks is because I always hurt myself more than I actually hurt my opponent. Because if you miss a leg kick just by a quarter of an inch, you break a toe, break a foot, jacks up the whole fight. So my
pretty
right
much like
foot,
Conor.
Exactly. So my right foot is still swollen, so I got to select my shoes and loosen them up a little bit. My left leg was torn up from his leg kicks. Got an MRI on my knee. Still waiting for results on that and stuff. Both hands were swollen as heck. And then, yeah, my face. And then I don't know if I got kicked in the rib or something. The most pain, one of the top 5 most pains I've ever had in my life. There's like I might have separated my sternum or something, but got an x-ray, it checked out. But yeah, man, it was rough.
You guys are battling, bro.
Battling. Yeah, so the stitches in my lip kind of came out after like 2 days because
How long does that residual pain kind of last? This is when did you? It was.
That was
how
November.
far out are we from the fight?
10 days.
10 days. Yeah. How long does this residual pain kind of last? Is it still going on right now?
Still here. Yeah. So I wake up every morning like hobbling around like a 9-year-old. And then yeah, my rib, hands are still swollen. Just body inflammation. You know, when you put your body through, you probably have experienced it through certain really hard games where you're like, okay, this one was a rough one.
Right.
Where you're just like full body inflammation, you know, you're heavy. And then of course I go from 150 something, 156 to, you know, almost 190. So all the salt that I've reintroduced into my system, food, a couple alcoholic beverages, a couple adult beverages. My body was just like full, big, swollen, you know?
Yeah. Do you feel like does that kind of take a toll on your body? Because as much as we like play games and kind of go through the whole car wreck situation of playing football, like we don't have to cut weight. Like you walk around, what are you right now?
I was 188 this morning.
And you fought at 150?
56.
Yeah. So does that kind of take a toll on your body, or does that kind of play into, I guess, like bone damage, or because you're cutting 30 pounds?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I think it does, you know, it's kind of one of those things where you just like, I've gotten so used to it. I was telling you, because obviously we have the connection with your brother and we're talking about wrestling, and you're kind of an honorary wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause you
I
have
got
brother who was wrestling.
I got slight cauliflower
my
ear,
brother
dude.
Eric,
I'm an honorary. I went to state. Went to state my junior year of high school.
My brother Eric's a football player, but like all my wrestling buddies loved him, and he was like kind of an honorary wrestler. So like I look at you like that as well. So we're kind of talking about wrestling when we were at breakfast, and I was like, yeah, since I was 16 or 17 years old, I've wrestled, or I've made the 150 something pound weight class. 152 in high school, 157 in college, now 155 in fighting. And now it's been 21 years, 19 years where I've been staying in the 150s, and my body has just progressively gotten bigger and bigger. Like you alluded to, kind of bone density. You can only pound the pavement so much before your bones get thicker, denser. When I do a DEXA scan, my performance coach down in Florida was like, dude, you got some of the densest bones I've ever seen in my entire life, which is great because I don't break
that vitamin D, baby, that calcium.
I don't break them. You know, I got x-rays and stuff, and and my wife Bree is a doctor. He's like, yeah, your foot might be broken, your leg might be broken. She's like, it doesn't really look good. Send her a text like, hey babe, Iron Man, Chandlers don't break bones, right? Which is not true. I've had a couple, but for the most part,
which is false for anybody following.
Absolutely false.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you know, I've just been very blessed with a durable body, but all
like a Chevy Silverado,
like a Chevy Silverado, you know, like a rock.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what I've always said. That's what I've always said on the bus. But you know, it just getting thicker and just denser, you know, so it's not fun making weight. I hate the 160s, let alone the 150s. The 150s are a blur when I get down there. It's just not fun.
Bro, don't you get sick of it? Like you said 20 something years. And as little as I dabbled in the wrestling world, I watched it happen with my brother, and I love the sport of wrestling. So I see what happens when these guys cut weight. And you've been doing it for 21 years. Like, do you ever just get fucking sick of it?
Dude, the funny thing is, right, the law of just averages or whatever it is, as you do something more and more, it should get easier, right? You should mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever, it should get easier because I've done it so many times. But the problem is your body's getting bigger as you do it more and more and more. As I grow into we're talking about 14 years old starting, and then now 35 years old. It becomes something where you're just like, you have to do it, and it never gets easier. I want it to get easier. I'm always extremely disciplined. I have to get even more. The things I used to be able to get away with when I first started fighting, I can't get away with it anymore. It's 10 weeks of my Mega Fit meals. You see me like, it's a meal. It's, it comes frozen, and then I thaw it out, and then I throw it in a skillet. It's chicken, broccoli, ground beef, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, turkey, and then some protein shakes, some BCAAs, and do that for 10 weeks straight. And it's like, that's why we had a nice big breakfast. Whatever you got, he ordered for me. I'm like, what do you get here? He's like, the steak and the this and the that, add bacon, no avocado, no cheese. I'm like, all right, let's go. So,
bro, yeah, I mean, it seems like that stuff gets harder to do, the monotony of the routine and everything else. And I guess I say that just because, like, playing football for so long, like each year you just enter more, we can call it what it is. More money comes into the equation. You have kind of a better lifestyle and everything else. It's like, it seems like it would get harder.
Yeah.
And I assume it's the same thing, even more so for you guys, because you have to go 10 weeks of this strict. I admire the fuck out of it. I mean, it's definitely a mentality you appreciate and know it's necessary and something you love to do because it keeps you, as Goggins would say, it keeps you hard, like keeps you motivated. But at some point, like, you got to get over that, right?
You do.
Like, you got to be like, man, I'm fucking.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I think about, like, 40-year-old me. I think about me a couple of years from now when I'm retired, and I'm like, maybe I'm going to miss this. Maybe I'm going to miss cutting weight, but probably not. But,
I guess, guys, I'm saying the extreme of 30 something pounds, to where it's like, why don't you sit there and be like, all right, let's fight it. Like, let's just fight at 170 or
100%. Like, I've thought about that for years. I'm like, dude, if we're not fighting for a title and we're both 155 pounders, why do we cut to 155? Why don't we just fight each other at 170? We're both going to be the same weight anyway. It doesn't matter. You're just basically negating the last 10, 15 pounds of cutting water weight. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like, I kind of like that. Like you talk about Goggins, like stay hard. Like I do love that I am literally 1% of 1% of 1% of people in the entire world that have to do what I do. So there's a certain amount of pride that comes with it. There's a certain amount of confidence. Like I've weighed in hundreds of times, never once have missed weight, never once pulled out of a fight, never once didn't say what I was going to do. We weren't signing contracts in high school or college for, making weight and wrestling matches. In mixed martial arts, it's a profession. So of course you're signing a contract saying, I'm going to make this contract of weight on this date and fight this guy at this many rounds. So it's nice to be a man of your word. It's nice to know that everyone around you looks at you as the guy who is so reliable that no matter what, you're going to make weight. Even when I have a better leg to stand on than a lot of people, because when I am 190 pounds, I'm still less than 10% body fat. I'm not one of these guys who gets big and fat. So when I'm heavy because I'm dense, not because I'm that, chunky. But it's not fun, man. It's not.
Is that more like the thought that you just have you have the best chance fighting in the 150s? Because I guess if you're sitting there and you're like, I could do just as well fighting up a little bit more or not cutting all this weight. At what point do strategically you sit down and think, I don't need to do all of this just to get down to a weight that's taking a little bit more of a toll on my body now, being older, being in this game so long, like you said, a couple decades now, in this cutting weight game, to where you're just like, all right, let's strategically like make a better decision. Yeah. But maybe your odds are better being that light all the time.
They are. And I think part of it too is you're just like, well, you know what you can do and you trust yourself to be able to do it. I know I'll never, ever not make 155 unless my body literally shuts down. I pass out and I end up in a hospital bed. It's the only way which it never really gets to that, but you know, that's the only way that I don't make weight. And I think, unfortunately, for when it comes to weight classes, I'm big enough, fast enough, strong enough, explosive enough, powerful enough to fight 170, to match those guys, skill for skill, strength for strength, size for size. You just get more into the height game, you know, like those guys are sitting at like, most of them are sitting around 6 foot, 6'1". So you get into the range, the distance in the striking, the length of the body, being able to manipulate, move, pick up, put down the body. So 155 is my weight class. I'm a good, I think I'm a good body size for 155. I'm just a little bit heavier than most of the guys that Justin Gaethje, guarantee weighs 175, 177, you know, Conor 177, 175. Poirier probably might get close to, I think Poirier gets closer to 190. But you know, it's just your ability to make the weight. I mean, I got a lot of muscle mass, so I can suck the water out.
Yeah, you're like a stout pit bull.
Thank you. I'll take that.
I would say that, right?
Stout pit bull,
big body, like got the muscle around around his head and stuff like that. Compact.
I'll take it.
Does it ever take it more of a toll on your body the older you get, cutting all that weight? Like, what's a situation or some stories you can tell us to where, as you've gotten older, how it might have changed? Cutting 30 pounds. How old are you now?
35.
Being 35 compared to obviously when you're younger, like you said, you can get away with a lot more. Like, does your body ever just say, "Hey, stop fucking doing this to me"? And this, like, I'm disagreeing with this, and
pretty much every time it disagrees with it. But you find you just kind of make decisions on the fly. You know, you're manipulating water. You know, we do a water load, so I load 2.5 gallons, 2 gallons, 1 gallon, 1.5 gallon, or 1.5 and 1 gallon.
As you're cutting weight?
Yeah. So you kind of hypersaturate your body. So all your cells are hypersaturated, which induces your body to pee out more, sweat more. And then, so, you know, water manipulate. And then each fight week, even though it sounds like it's always the same, just like kind of your game day preparations or you're going to a different city, there's always something that's a little bit different about every single situation, even though it is always the same.
Right.
Sometimes you get in 6 days before the fight. Sometimes you get in 4 days before the fight. Sometimes you fly to Abu Dhabi. Like I flew to Abu Dhabi and made weight, and my flight got canceled. So we actually got there a day and a half later than we were supposed to, which threw everything off. That was one of the hardest weight cuts of my life for my UFC debut. So I went to Abu Dhabi twice actually, so that's a 16-hour flight. Everyone knows you're holding on to a lot more water weight, a little bit more inflamed, a little more swollen after you get off of a flight. So you're dealing with that. Then you're dealing with hotel workouts. Do you have a personal sauna? Do you have a stand-up sauna? Is there a workout room? Is the workout room cold? Is it warm? So all these little details that sound like, you know, your audience is probably like, well, it doesn't sound like it matters that much, but it matters a ton when you're cutting weight. Your calorie is restricted, your water restricted. And it just, I think the biggest, it's not actually just the weight cut. It's more just the unfortunate part about someday I'm going to look back and say, man, I wish I could still fight. You know, I mean, like, you know, someday when I retire, say, man, I wish I could go through that again. Wish I could fight again. Wish I could feel the exhilaration of it all. The weight cutting takes the fun out of it. You know, that fight week is in a lot of ways, there's a lot of pressure. You know, every single opportunity I've had in the UFC has been huge. You know, they've all been huge pay-per-views. They've all been big fights, big cards, a lot of hoopla, a lot of media. And these are some of the greatest moments of my life, yet they're marred by this dark cloud of, where's my weight at? What time is it? Can I work out tonight? What is my weight? If my weight is just 2 pounds heavier than I want it to be, 1 pound heavier than I want it to be, changes my entire attitude. I don't want to be around people. If I'm with you and you're my teammate fighting on the card and I know you're not cutting as much weight as I am, I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you to look in my direction. I become that guy, right? So it's not good. Like, I don't like my wife to be around me on fight week because I don't want her to see that side of me. Kind of like what we were saying, like me, like I got to protect myself from myself sometimes when I'm like, I know when I'm on that TV and I'm in that cage, that dude can't be trusted. Like this guy right here doesn't trust that guy that's fighting. You know, it's like I don't trust him, similar to how you saw
I
me
mean, you
in my
fucking
last.
shouldn't trust him.
Similar-
I'm sitting there
similar to-
watching. I'm not trusting you. I'm disagreeing
You
with
saw
some
me
of
in
that
my
shit
life.
out
You're
there.
like, come on, dude, you're my
Yeah.
friend, man. Don't do
I'm like,
this.
God damn it, Mike, move.
I'm pretty sure. Actually, I was talking to my brother Eric. Have you met Eric yet? Have you met my brother Eric?
No, I don't
thought
think
you
so.
had. But we were talking about, he watched it with my youngest brother Matthew, and he's like, oh my God, he's committing suicide. Like, what does he do? You know, it's like the different range of emotions that are going on. And to me, I'm just like, dude, we're having a blast. Let's do this. You know, like, come on, let's like finish me. See if you can do it. Like,
You're getting popped in the face.
Exactly.
And
And I
literally
couldn't-
saying, keep coming. I'm like, yeah, put your fucking hand down, dude. You don't need to continue to get hit.
I can't trust that guy.
That's
that
what I'm
guy
saying.
can't be trusted. And luckily, you'll never meet that guy. Hopefully, nobody ever meets that guy besides my opponents inside the confines of mixed martial arts competition. But the good thing is, you know, what did Jordan Peterson say? Like, the greatest thing is to be dangerous and to be nasty, but to not have to use it. Like something similar to that.
Right.
Like, to know that guy is inside of you, that tyrannical person who could just do some really, really crazy things,
But also,
to know that
you
he's inside of you, but to know how to harness him, to know how to, and even like, you know, we talk about the Bible scripture, the meek, talking about being meek, you know, the meek shall inherit the earth. Meek doesn't mean look away, shy away from competition, shy away from things, be meek and scared of things. It's to be all courageous and all powerful, but it being like a sword that is sheathed, to know when to pull that sword out, to know that you have that sword. And so, I mean, to know that I have that crazy psychopath inside of me is great, because I know he makes me a better father. He makes me a better husband. He makes me a better businessman, makes me a better human being. But just knowing nobody needs to see him.
Yeah.
In real life.
Doesn't need to be all the time.
No, definitely not.
Oh, there we go. We got a Jordan. Nice pool, dude.
There
A
it is.
harmless man is not a good man. A good man is very dangerous. Is a very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control.
Love it. Voluntary. Like,
Yeah.
knowing that you have control over it.
Yeah,
It's not
I'm a huge fan
involuntary.
of Jordan Peterson, dude.
Love Jordan Peterson.
Great philosopher. Get him in your life.
The man. Get him on the bus. Jordan.
That would
if you're
be
listening.
insane. Do you know him?
No.
I mean, I'm sure the networks we could figure it out.
We're all 1 degree of separation.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could figure it
out.
out.
Jordan, if you're listening,
We'd love
Get
to
on the
have
bus,
you on
bro.
the bus, man. Become one of the boys, dude. Dude, let's dive into the fight. Because watching the fight, it's like, you know, it brings me back to my days of watching my brother wrestling. Like, you're a little like, you get a little anxiety. You're obviously, we're wanting you to win, or I'm wanting you to win. And it seemed like you guys just got out there and had just a hillbilly brawl for 3 rounds. Like, you had a plan, but it just kind of goes out the door once the fight started, and you guys just wanted to kind of throw hands the whole time. You guys are even saying comments, whoever takes a step back is a pussy, or whoever takes the first shot and take down. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, oh, you're a good wrestler. Why wouldn't you want to wrestle him? Or at that moment, like, why does it go the way it does?
Man, so the funny thing is having to apologize to my wife, because I literally told her before the fight, I was like, babe, you know, I beat this guy in wrestling 9 times out of 10. You know, there's no way that I don't beat him in a wrestling match every single time. In an MMA wrestling match, putting him up against the cage, picking him up, putting him down, wearing him down, pulling on his head, grabbing his wrist, grabbing his elbow, underhooks, just making it dirty, being in his face and not slugging it out. I win that fight most of the time. And I think I will say Justin Gaethje has really great takedown defense. The way that he moves, how fast he can get his legs and his hips back. Each time that I touched his leg, I wasn't close enough to reinforce that I was going to be able to take him down. And I didn't want to get stuck in the wrestling. But more than anything, man, we started off so fast. Madison Square Garden's a different animal, man. Madison Square Garden is a place warming up in the same locker room as Mike Tyson, walking the same halls as Muhammad Ali. So I'm not saying that was part of it, but it was the scene, the atmosphere just felt different. So, man, I'm getting ready and I'm looking at him across the cage. I'm like, I can't wait to get my hands on you. And we started.
Just the adrenaline.
We started, and the fans there. I didn't hear one word from my coach. I've fought 29 times. Every single time I've heard at least something here and there from coaches. Little blips here, little cues there. Didn't hear a thing. So and it was because we started out so fast. People were so hyped and anticipating of this fight that I don't think anybody was sitting down when the card started. When Bruce Buffer said, and we are live now on pay-per-view, and here we are, Gaethje versus Chandler, starting this card off with a bang. And the UFC did that on purpose to put probably one of the most anticipated fights on the card, probably aside from the main card, the main event title fight. This was the fight that everyone was looking forward to because, and I alluded to this yesterday, not everybody in mixed martial arts is a man or a woman of their word. They say a lot of claims that they're going to go out there and fight. They're going to stand toe to toe. They're going to come forward. They are this and they are that, but not a lot of people always do it. Me and Gaethje always do that. We are men of our words when we say we're actually going to do it. So there was just so much hype, and we met in the center of the octagon, exchanged a few of them, and I think we both had early success. I think he landed I hit him with a jab. The first punch of the fight landed, and it was a jab, and it was probably the hardest jab I've ever landed in my entire life. And he stumbled backwards, and he kind of smiled a little bit, which reinforced, okay, I'm going to knock this dude out. Then he hits me with something pretty hard. So he reinforces to him that, okay, I can knock this dude out. And then from there, it was, freaking.
Yeah, a couple of times it's like, oh, fuck. And then it's like, oh, shit, let's go.
And it was, and then it was, then
and
it was
you're like, on my end, being Team Chandler, it's like, you caught him there toward the end of that first round. You guys were just kind of out of gas, man.
It's hard, man. It's crazy because you never know how long 5 minutes is until you got to go red line for 5 minutes, like it's crazy. And then you get back to your stool and you have about 45 seconds of basically sitting there trying to catch your breath. Fighting is it's a game of trying to, like, it's calculated violence and fast spurts of energy, trying to conserve where you can conserve. But there's barely, in a fight like that, there was barely ever a moment that you could ever conserve.
No doubt. Yeah.
You couldn't take a step back. If you get the takedown, there's nothing better in a fight than when you're tired as heck. You pick a guy up, put him down, and you're able to get on top of him, throw a tight waist in, grab a wrist, and you're like, okay, take a breath. I don't remember ever taking a breath in that fight. Like, not once.
The only breath was after the uppercut.
Oh,
when you had his leg and you're just like,
wasn't right there.
Yeah, you're not thinking I'm taking your breath. It's just, you're just holding. Yeah. That's the only time the fight might've been stagnant.
Well, and the crazy thing about it is, and just to kind of give the listeners a kind of an insight, the most unfortunate part about that was I didn't know I got dropped with the uppercut. I didn't know I was on my back. I didn't know he came down, hit me with something.
That's so crazy.
I'm like on my knees trying to like protect myself, still throwing punches while he's trying to finish me. And then I dive in and I get it on a leg. Thank God. He like hits me a couple times in the back of the head, not on purpose. It's one of those things where the head is there. You're just going to throw until the ref tells you to stop throwing. And I remember being on a leg, like, how did I get here? And I like looked around. And I was like, I don't remember how this happened. So he must have dropped me. But in my mind, I wish I would have thought, let me think about his body language and how he's reacting right now, because Gaethje, I think, threw so much into that uppercut, then the one shot, and then the 10 shots after that, trying to finish me. And there's nothing more demoralizing than when you get close to finishing a guy, you can't. You look him in the eyes and you're like, dang, dude, like, I can't finish this guy. He's not going away. So I wish I would have been able to pick up on that he's, we got it actually here on the screen. Like he's not really doing much right here. He's kind of, Justin Gaethje's not the kind of guy to sit here and hold a guy in a front headlock. He wants to pick you up, stand you up, and beat you up, So even knowing that he was sitting here for 20, 30 seconds kind of was a tell. And there's a smile we were talking about. That's when people realize Michael Chandler's a psychopath. And I'm smiling right there. And I'm just like, I got blood on the canvas. And I got my American flag mouthpiece full of blood, and he's somewhat taking a break, which Justin Gaethje never does. And he's a heck of a competitor. He's a solid dude, solid competitor. But in that moment, I wish I would have known, like, okay, he's second guessing his ability to finish me right now.
But you was just coming back from being out of it.
Exactly.
Because you're like, how did I get here? You watch that replay, you figure out, God damn, that boy.
Yeah, now I know. I was on my knees, like doing this number.
Bro, when that happened, I was like, oh,
I was like judo chopping him,
yeah,
trying to stop the punches. I didn't know any of that was going on.
I thought he was I thought the ref was going to stop it.
No, Mike Beltran is a phenomenal ref. And the funny thing about that dude is he's awesome as a referee, but he also was like, hey, listen, I know the fight I'm about to referee. I just want you to know, like, you're okay. I know you. I know you've had some fast stoppages in your past. Like, he kind of like looked around. He's like, I'm gonna let this fight go. I'm gonna make sure that you get your fair shake if anything happens.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not telling you that. I'm telling that to Justin Gaethje as well. I know who you guys are. I know what you want to do. And there's been moments in your career where you're like, dang, dude, if I would have just had one more second, I would have been able to get out of it and then could have finished the fight. So he was the perfect referee. He was the perfect opponent. And it was the perfect night, even if I lost.
All right, you all know Roback, best fit, best feel. It's football season, the best season, which means it's also hoodie season. It's getting a little cold out there. Time to bundle up in a perfectly warm and comfortable hoodie from Roback. Roback just restocked their performance hoodies, and I'm not kidding when we say they are the absolute softest, highest quality hoodies in the game. The material is out of this world soft, and the stretch is unmatched. Nobody does hoodies like the boys at Roback. Use the code BUSSIN, BUSSIN, on Roback.com for a generous 20% off your first order. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. 20% off your first order on all polos, Q-zips, hoodies, and tees with code BUSSIN. Hop on the Roback bus now because it's taking off, boys, so go check them out at Roback.com. Do it for the boys. Before the fight.
So the referee always comes in. You got your commissioner who watches you like a hawk, especially in New York. He had to watch me pee. He had to watch me walk down the hallway. I couldn't eat anything, can't drink anything. They don't let you have anything. You can't ingest anything besides the water that they give you there in the venue. And then you have the referee come in. If they don't know, they shake your hand. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm your referee. But obviously, Mike's been my referee numerous times. He's been my judge. He's judges fights. So it's funny. As the sport grows and touches every corner of the globe, it's still such a small community. It's all the same referees. It's the same commissions. It's the same fighters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're all fighting each other's friends, fighting each other's teammates. So,
you good, Alex?
Yeah, that's amazing.
No. So,
at what point, because you're obviously being an incredible showman as well, like, you're eating a lot of shots. And I don't know if there's times where you're thinking, like, you know, I always use the Rocky reference, but you're standing in there wanting to take shots because you're obviously saying, come on, more. And like, at what point watching the replay of the fight are you like, I got to be a little bit smarter out there? Because for real, man, like, you're giving him shots as well. But as your boy, like, I'm sitting there like, yo, why are you just eating shots? I get, like, you're wanting to be like a great showman of the sport, like Iron Mike, like, you're crazy as shit, right? Yeah. But at what point are you just thinking, like, I need to stop fucking doing that?
In the fight or after I watch?
You're probably not thinking about it. In the fight, you're not thinking about it. But after and watching, you're saying you're apologizing to your wife because all the people that love you are thinking the same thing. Like, how, like, why would you move forward and continue to do shit like this?
Well, back to my wife, I don't think I finished that thought, but yeah, I told her, I was like, hey, I got an easier path to victory to wrestle this guy, get him up against the cage. And obviously that didn't happen. So yeah, I owed her an apology.
Because you wanted to be a man of your word on saying what you said. Yeah. Because again, it's like,
I didn't want her to think that I was like, because I do have to gauge her feelings on an opponent. I do have to gauge her emotions. Like, she's a sweetheart of a person, and she is a tough, independent, hard woman. Like, she was built to be my wife for this, in this sport. She's perfect for it, but she still is like, all right, this is freaking nuts. And now they went over to the UFC. I mean, if you look at my run so far and you look at some of these guys I got to fight, they are the best in the world on the planet at 155 pounds. So I didn't want her to think that I was just pandering to her saying, hey, I'm going to go out there and wrestle them more. Like, 'cause that really was the plan. It just didn't go that way. And so after when I watch it, I'm like, God, this guy's an idiot, you know, but it's also beautiful. It's like beautiful because this is what my calling is, man. God put me on this earth to do this, and to be able to sit here on this bus with you also, and to be a father and to be a husband and to be, you know, all the things I want to be. So, you know, it's you definitely look at it and know, because I know there's a lot of guys 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the violence of the sport. I'm all in. I love it, you know, which is not a good thing, not unnecessarily. Like, I think it's a scary thing. I think there's a lot of guys in the 155 division that don't want to fight me because of that. I think every single fan on the mixed martial arts planet wants to watch me fight now. So that's, you weigh both sides of it. It definitely raised my stock. This was one time that those antics, the way that I fought, my willingness to engage, my willingness to be in the slugfest, my willingness to eat the shots raises your stock. People are going to want to see me fight, but you know, you definitely.
Is it better to know though that you just have that in your bag and you don't want to pull that out?
Yeah.
Because again, you watch that fight and obviously you look back like, yeah, you wanted to wrestle more. You feel good about your wrestling and stuff like that. And obviously hindsight's 2020. But like you said, the adrenaline dump happens. You're not hearing anything. Madison Square. The moment is just nobody can understand unless they're in it.
Yeah.
But watching it, do you get frustrated? Like, man, I should have went here. Obviously, I should have wrestled more. I did a slugfest too much. Yeah, it's good that everyone saw this slugfest for the American boy, the Missouri boy, who's gritty, dependable, reliable, like the Chevy Silverado. But
like a rock,
right? Are you sitting there like, I can't be doing that to myself?
Yeah.
You're put on this earth to fight,
sure.
but it's not like you need to go out there and put on some kind of show like that every time.
No, I think there was a certain tactical aspect of it too. I mean, there was moments in the fight where I looked across the cage or looked in the exchanges at Justin Gaethje and thought, because there was always this, that when Justin Gaethje came into the sport or into the UFC onto the mainstream, he said, "Show me my equal." And if you're that kind of guy, you want to find your equal, but when you find your equal, it could hit you like a ton of bricks. And you're like, I don't know if I actually want to fight my equal right now. And I felt that numerous times in the fight. I felt Justin Gaethje, who is the scariest, most unpredictable, most entertaining fighter in mixed martial arts. Not to take anything away from him, but I felt that he knew that he was in a dogfight like he had never been before. So there was a certain amount of tactical aspect of it too, where there is. Because this sport is as physical as it is, it's mainly mental. Because your mental aspect is going to control your heart rate. It's going to control your body's willingness to keep coming forward. And when you're in a violent fight like that, I felt like there was also some tactical aspect of it too. That by him knowing that he can't finish me, it makes him second guess himself, because most of mixed martial arts too isn't just imposing your will on the opponent. It's also making them second guess themselves inside the competition. You know, similar to one play, you flat back a guy, then you know you're in his head. And then it's like, okay, next play, he might try again, but he's going to try a little bit less because he knows the battle is lost.
Yeah.
But all that to say, yeah, I don't really condone that for myself. You know, I got a life after fighting that's going to be a lot more fruitful than inside the actual octagon. But like we said, I can't control it.
Yeah, because when I'm watching and all that stuff happens, I'm thinking like, man, you know, how much is it worth going in there and fighting that style and taking, you know, both of you guys, but taking a beating like that? Like, how much is that worth all of this extra showman, all these antics that kind of come with it? So I'm like, man, like, how many more times would you actually want to fight that way?
I don't want to fight that way ever again. But I mean, 95% of the fight was just a good old fashioned passionate scrap, you know.
100%.
5%
proper scrap.
5% of it was, you know, a little bit of like, dude, what are you doing, man? Like, you know, and I even, of course, have gotten criticism like, hey, if you would have been a little more tactical and not tried to put on a show, you would have won the fight. But truthfully, I'm not just saying this. This sounds like something a loser of a fight would say. But it's very genuine when I say it was the first time in my career that Mike Beltran, the referee, grabbed my wrist. And it was that moment where I was about to get my hand raised or keep it down while my opponent got his hand raised or kept it down. And at that moment, when he grabbed my wrist, I was like, oh shoot, there's going to be a winner and a loser right now. First time in my life, which is great, because once again, I've talked about this and I've thought about it a lot. People aren't going to remember the wins and losses. They're not going to remember the performances all the time, but they're going to remember how they felt, you know, like people are going to remember how you made them feel. And that's the same thing here on the bus. They might not even remember the words that they hear, but they're going to remember how that certain podcast made them feel. And it's going to help them move forward in their life. It's going to make an impact on them. So I think that fight was the epitome of making people feel something about why they love mixed martial arts. Like I said, I don't condone it. I'm not going to be the guy who's going to go out there and do that every single time. And I think I proved that in the Charles Oliveira fight. I proved that in my first fight against Dan Hooker. I've proven that numerous times in my career. I'm not a slugfest kind of guy, but if you want to take me there, if I need to take you there, I can take you there. Like we said, just like the Peterson quote, like it's nice to have it in your back pocket.
That was well said.
I guess.
No,
I mean,
it was like
making
no.
people,
I thought that made a lot of sense because you're right. It makes you feel a certain way. There's no doubt that eyes are
Right.
now a lot more eyes are like, you know, Michael Chandler, regardless of how that fight went down and everything. It's like, how do you not respect and think that's one of the best fights you've ever seen?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, and I've been very candid. Like I remember losing to Charles Oliveira, and dude, that was one of the hardest moments of my life, man. I came on the bus 48 hours later, and it was one of the not lowest points of my life, but like it was the biggest letdown of my athletic career, right? Like I've been training so hard and focused so hard on becoming the number one fighter in the world, the number one lightweight in the world, and I had that opportunity and I lost, but still, even in it, because I love the sport of mixed martial arts so much, there was a part of me that I wanted to cry for my loss, but I was happy for him. You know, it's weird because like, man, we're just a bunch of dudes with 2 arms and 2 legs, man. He's got a wife and kids. Like he's got his passions. He's got his things. He was a poor kid from the favelas of Brazil.
He had to wait a long time too to get.
Yeah, man. He's had moments where he felt like he was a loser, and he probably had moments where he wanted to quit. And that's why people love this sport, man. Is like, and people were probably like, dude, that's BS. What are you talking? Like, there's no way you were happy for him in that moment, but I really was, man. And I went back to the locker room and freaking cried my eyes out, and it was rough, but there was still a part of me where like when I see Charles Oliveira holding that belt, I'm like, you know what? Sucks for me, dude, but good for you. Like this is the sport. You can't love the sport of mixed martial arts and take the bright lights and the platform and the money and the living that I provide for my family with, and opportunities like this to be on the bus and the platform that I have, without also accepting the horrible parts of it, you know? So it truly was, I was happy for Justin Gaethje get that win. And I even said it yesterday on Ariel's show. I said, man, Justin Gaethje is going to go beat Dustin Poirier or Charles Oliveira middle of next year when one of those guys has the belt. He's going to win it. And I'm going to say, you know what? Good for you, dude. I'm glad I was part of that journey. And someday Justin Gaethje's going to be on the bus, and we're going to, toast some whiskey, and we're going to be like, dude, we did it. Had a blast. It was a good time, man. Like, and hopefully we're, in one piece.
Yeah, that'd be sick to get old Gaethje on the bus and talk about both sides of it too, just to see like what goes on in his head. Because a lot of the times too, you're talking a lot about like Gaethje's world and Gaethje like playing Gaethje's game, and feel like that's the first time he's felt this, and you standing toe to toe. That doesn't usually happen with Gaethje. He usually gets his way with this. You're talking about playing Gaethje's game a lot. Like going forward, like what's the thought of Michael Chandler's world? Like what's in your game? Like what's in your strategy? If you were to fight him again, like how do you sit there and think more about yourself than being like, I'm going to prove that I can stand toe to toe in this dude's world, and think about people who don't think certain things of you that you got to prove wrong. Like at what point do you start thinking about yourself and what's next for Mike Chandler?
Well, I definitely was thinking that. There's definitely an aspect of it because I am new to the UFC. It feels like I got on the bus 3 years ago and talked about coming to the UFC, signing with the UFC, right? It feels
you did. That is what happened, bro.
Yeah,
and once you landed in the UFC, you were fast tracking.
Bro, yeah. October, January, May, November, all in 1 year. It's been 13 months since I signed with the UFC, and it feels like I've been there for 3 years. So there was an aspect of my career or the mixed martial arts fan base that said, well, this guy, number one, got fast tracked. Number two, he's got Dana White privilege. Number three, everything's working out for him. I don't really like him because of this, that, and the other thing. So there was an aspect of he's too old. He's not that good. He's, he got fast tracked. He can't hang with the big dogs. So of course there was an aspect of it where I wanted to be like, y'all just wait to see, but I think I'm still, one of the best guys in the world. I think I'm still top 3, top 5 in the world. I'm happy with that right now. I lost to Justin Gaethje. Fight could have went either way. I could have been a little bit more tactical. Could have landed one shot, knocked him out. He could have finished me in the second round. That's why we love mixed martial arts. We're wearing 4-ounce gloves. We all got buttons here on these certain spots that God planted on your chin, God planted on your temple.
Them touch buttons.
That you just can't, it's part of it, but that's why we love mixed martial arts. It doesn't matter if you're 1,000-to-1 underdog, 1,000-to-1 favorite, you can be beat. And that's why, you have to enjoy the ups and the downs of this journey. You know, I got 29 fights. I'm 22-7. But do people really care that I lost to Justin Gaethje, or do they care about how it made them feel? Do they care about how I pulled myself
I care
back up?
about you losing to Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, you do.
I don't think I'm hearing you say I beat him 9 times out of 10 wrestling. I'm
In
like,
wrestling?
well, wrestle the motherfucker then, dude. Yeah, run that shit. Wrestle, man. Tell your fucking
Dude, hey.
tell Bree, tell your wife,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna wrestle his ass.
We're gonna have a bus. We're gonna have a
He's
bus
like,
stop.
people
session.
people
We're gonna have a bus
are gonna
stop
care how I
session.
made him feel. Nah, fuck that. I wanted you.
Hey,
I wanted you to win, man.
Me versus Justin Gaethje wrestling match right here in the bus warehouse.
Oh, we can roll out a mat. We get a little circular mat going.
Dude, I'll put on I'll put on North County singlet.
Where's he from? Where does Gaethje live?
He's from Arizona. He trains in Colorado. Dude, the funny thing is,
we got to work that out.
Yeah.
Not exactly the wrestling match would be great, but just getting him
definitely
in the
a
bus
wrestling
and
match.
getting us around. Yeah.
You know, but the funny thing is, like,
we'll stream it.
And it's funny too when you think about motivation, and you've seen it too with athletes. Like, different people are motivated by different things. Some people, it's like, I got to do this because I don't want to be poor anymore, or I got to do this because I love it, or I got to do this because I want to make it, or I got to do this because I hate this guy and he's trying to take everything away from me, so I want to beat this guy badly. And that's how Justin Gaethje is. So the funny thing was, he and I are cut from the exact same cloth, dude. Middle class, hardworking mom and dad, wrestling kids who got into mixed martial arts, and now we're trying to live the dream and win world titles. We were the exact same path. And funny thing was, like, people thought there was a lot of animosity because he had said certain things. Like, he wanted to punch me in the face. He doesn't like the way I, smirk. He doesn't like this. He doesn't like that.
Yeah, I don't.
You know,
I don't like it all the time either.
he kind of had to build it up that he didn't like me, when really I knew he liked me. I knew he knew who I was. I'm exactly who you think I am, and I know that you would like me if we didn't have to fight each other. So the funniest thing was, you guys have seen the kind of the high five and the embrace at the end of the fight, and we were talking, and I'm bleeding, and he's swollen, and we were just like, there was so much mutual respect. And it's funny when that video comes out. I don't know when it's going to come out. I don't know exactly what I said, but I was like, dude, I knew you didn't hate me, dude. I
know that you know that I know that you knew.
Because he said something, and I was like, dude, I knew it. I knew it the whole freaking time. I'm glad it's over. Go win the belt or whatever we said. But so it's just, that's what it brings out of you. So people were like, dude, you must hate that dude, right? And it's like, no, if anything, I like him more. So there's two guys now, like Eddie Alvarez, I spent almost 50 minutes in the cage with, freaking slugging it out with 2 Fight of the Year candidates. And now Justin Gaethje, we're like, those two dudes were enemies and foes at one point in time when they stood across the cage from me, but I can't name 2 other dudes on the entire planet that I have more respect for when you've been in the actual trenches with them,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a beautiful sport, man. It's freaking crazy. That's why we love it.
Yeah, dude, I feel like people need more of a Mike Chandler's perspective. Listen to the confidence. Listen to the confidence.
Yeah.
Listen to the confidence you have in yourself, which I admire, and then listen to the perspective you just have on the appreciation for other people and their success as well, even in your story. And you justify losing your loss by making people feel a certain way. I'm not saying justifying like that's a shallow way to say it.
No, it's okay,
but I'm saying the way you'll remove yourself and zoom out and see things for kind of what it is. I admire and respect that out of you.
Thank you. And I don't know where
it makes me mad sometimes because I'm like, no, I want you to fucking win, bro. But obviously, like there's I don't know, dude. I appreciate it.
And the most beautiful thing though too, and we've talked about losses and setbacks. It's like, dude, if I think only by going through the losses and the setbacks do you really get the real oomph and the real meaning out of life, dude.
The clarity of it all.
Nobody wins all the time, dude. Like, I've hated my life at moments. I've thought I was lower than dirt at moments. I was a small guy from a small town. I didn't have hair in my armpits. So I was 20 years old, like
that's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. Like these moments where you're like, and these are just all parts of life. And like, there's people that are listening right now. They're like, well, dude, I lost that account at work, or man, I lost my job, or COVID was rough, but dude, it ain't as bad as getting knocked down in front of millions of people on pay-per-view. And then that guy able to be like, man, I got knocked out in front of millions of people on pay-per-view.
Paycheck's a little bit different.
Paycheck is nice. Paycheck is nice. But
paycheck's a little bit different.
But it goes.
I see the relatability you're trying to have.
But it also goes back to show that every single time that I've had a setback in my life, it always ended up making me more money, more platform, more shine, more abilities, more. So it's almost like I don't want to sit here and sound cliche, but every single time that I've had a setback, And I'm sitting there in tears and in the Houston Toyota Center. And then I had this epic fight with Justin Gaethje. Yeah, I lost. But dude, now people want to see me fight even more after those 2 losses than if I would have won them both.
Ooh, I don't know.
They would have.
Hey, come on now. If you win both those fights,
yep,
you're fighting for the title. What are you talking about?
People don't care, dude.
And I'm wearing the flag.
Dude, fighting is a physical manifestation for the fights that everyone is going through in life. And sometimes you get more, and I've had thousands of people tell me that over the last couple days, like that I've gotten more respect, everybody's talking about my stock, and I'm like, this invisible stock of who I am or whatever. It's just growing like crazy because once again, they are tweeting that, talking about that in the media interviews and all that kind of stuff based on how they felt about what I did inside the octagon, win, lose, or draw.
I can see that. Just because I feel that
you're a homer, dude. You're a Chandler homer. You just want me to win, you know?
Oh, I want you to win. I'm talking about
the boy.
I am talking about the competitive aspect of it.
Sorry, I'm too zoomed out right now.
I'm
too zoomed out
because
if you're like laser focused in on
I know.
Magnifying
I know. I care too much. That's the problem. Because if you win both those fights, you're obviously
you're right.
I mean, you're not fighting Gaethje. You're fighting for the title because you beat Oliveira. But obviously, the people who are for you are excited for you because, you know, in the competitive sport of fighting, you're getting to go for the world title.
Yeah.
We're rooting for you harder than ever. We're rooting for you harder than ever, no matter what. But I feel like things that you're talking to, there's more relatability in someone who loses and handles it the way you're handling it, that people can gravitate towards, that ultimately, you know, create more fans and more perspective. Because the stuff that you're like, oh, these people are telling me this the past couple of days, and a lot of the love you are getting, I don't think necessarily has, like, yeah, you're going to have respect from going out there and taking blows you got. Like, I always do Rocky references, but again, that was a Rocky 2 fight. That was a Rocky 1 showdown with Apollo Creed.
Rocky is one of the most successful franchises in the world because Rocky didn't win all the time.
Exactly.
He always came back, you know?
Right. And it's not necessarily you standing in there going toes and taking those blows and it's like, oh man, I respect Mike Chandler. But I also think it has a lot to do with the way you handle these things and continue to push through these adversities. I didn't know you're at your lowest point of your career when you came on the bus last time, and you did. You came on the bus 24, 48 hours right after that fight with Oliveira. But I think it speaks more to your character and everything else. I know you're bad at taking compliments, but I'm trying to do my best at complimenting you too. I got to get better at that.
I'm bad at taking compliments.
You know what I mean? though. I don't think like it's, I think everybody felt a certain way about that fight. Like, you know, I'm getting texts. That's one of the best fights I've ever seen, but also watching how you handle losses and continue to have grace and compassion for not only yourself, but the opponent, showing that you know, there's a weird part of you that's roots for them as well and are happy for them because you know that they have a story. I think that plays a lot into you yourself as the stock of Michael Chandler. Not that you have this psycho part that just took a lot of blows. I think everybody respects that, but you have things that people can relate to because, you know, like you were saying, losses in their life and how to handle it, how to look at it. I don't know where I was going with that, but
I mean, and maybe I do.
That's how I felt right there. That's how I was just talking about my feelings. Man.
It's good. No, and I do appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I'm not good at taking compliments, but and maybe I do look at it. Maybe I shouldn't look at it that way, you know, in a lot of regards. Maybe I'd be a better fighter if I didn't look at it that way. But I just know how to be authentically, unapologetically me. Just like we talked about when we sat here with Jim Hensel, a mindset coach, when we figured out.
Yeah, who never gave me a practical plan of how to fucking put a lot of this stuff in play. Remember that?
but it worked. It worked really well for me because a lot of my doubts, fears, insecurities, and insufficiencies in my life was not knowing exactly who I was, and I was the biggest. I felt like I was an imposter and a faker sometimes because I wasn't authentically myself all the time, and it wasn't fake. It was probably fake in a positive way where I would dummy myself down too much instead of being proud of who I am. And that's just the small guy from the small town mindset that I've had to duct tape that little guy.
That you don't believe you deserve this kind of stuff.
Yeah. You know, and then you get thrust onto this platform that's just 100 times bigger than I've ever experienced. And there's millions and millions and millions of people talking about you. It's just it makes me think even more about being even more who I want to be. And just honestly, I don't rehearse any of this stuff. I don't really know what's about to come out of my mouth. Sometimes I might sound like an idiot, might sound dumb. or it might sound, whatever, or like over the top. And I'm just like, this is just who I am. I don't know, man. I got a microphone here staring at me. And I'm just going to talk into it.
Blush, you had something?
Yeah, Mike, I was just asking, like, I know you talked about your stock rising with, like, fans amongst, like, the respect that you've kind of gained from when you first got in and being the Dana White treatment or whatever. I think
Dana
your
White
stock
privilege
has risen amongst fans as well. Does the UFC value that as much as the fans, I guess?
Yeah, dude, it's the UFC gets a bad rap in a lot of ways because they are the epitome of just a phenomenal promotion. They are the number one worldwide leader in mixed martial arts. Not even close. Number 2 is not even in the same atmosphere. So therefore, there's always people in life and in every vocation. People at the lower rungs want to look up and take shots at the people on the higher rungs instead of trying to climb to higher rungs. So it's easy for people to sit at their lower rung and shoot shots at the UFC and say they should be doing this, they should be doing that, they should be paying people more, they should be taking care of their fighters more. And this is just my experience, I've been treated so well by the UFC. I have felt so much love from Dana White, Hunter Campbell, Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, like these guys at the very, very top, the guys who call all the shots and make all the decisions. And this is a huge, huge platform. The UFC is not your, small fight promotion like some of these other fight promotions are. It is, Dana White, when I talked to him, he's like, dude, I got like celebrities that you would crap your pants if you knew who was texting me right now telling me like that this is the greatest fight of all time. So like Dana White himself is a world-renowned celebrity, and that's a tough position to be in, and they should be quote unquote paying fighters more, and they should be doing all this other stuff. They've done nothing but take care of me. I got some, I'm banged up right now. They may as well be handing me a credit card and I could just swipe it at any medical place I want to right now to take care of all of my medical bills, to make sure I am taken care of, to make sure, they got insurance and they have all of these different things. These things that, wouldn't necessarily be covered under insurance. They're like, we're going to take care of it. We're going to take care of this. We're going to take care of that. That was a fight of the year, anything you need. And that's, and that's what, there's been so many stories that I have heard about these guys making people millionaires because they are phenomenal fighters. And a lot of this stuff goes under the radar, right? A lot of this stuff flies under the radar. Dana White doesn't talk about it. He doesn't want to, throw around the numbers and throw around this. And you barely ever hear him talk about it, but people under the UFC banner are extremely well taken care of. And, of course it's not, people always compare it to the NFL. They compare it to some of these other.
Well, people can easily compare it to boxing because they see what boxers can make.
Yeah. And boxing's been around for,
and they know
years.
how much of a cash cow the UFC can be.
Yeah.
So I think, people would want to see the fighters get a little bit more of their share for stepping in the octagon.
Of course.
And that's only playing devil's advocate to people who listen and they're like, yeah, but they make a shit ton of money, and you got the boxing world. You have stuff that it could relate to where it's like some of these fighters that aren't in the upper tier get it. And, to play devil's advocate to people who are listening and having prejudgment saying Dana White privilege and everything else, you've been well taken care of because you signed a deal and you're somebody that you're a top 5 fighter in the world. So you should be in these big fights coming from Bellator. Yep. But to remind people, how long have you been in the fight game?
13 years.
13 years.
I've been inside with the UFC for 13 months. Yeah. So to put that into perspective.
Right. It's the fight game in general. Yeah. Have you signed and been treated well? Because you've paid a lot of your fucking dues. Mm-hmm. Like you've been in the fight game for 13 years. Yeah. You weren't making and getting treated this way. You are now because all of the dog days, all of the adversities, all the weight cutting, all the monetary bullshit or monotonous bullshit you have to put up with for over a decade.
Yeah.
And now you're finally reaping rewards from that. Just to give people perspective that's listening, thinking like, that's easy for you to say because you came in as a top 5 fighter. Yep. You've gotten to fight the best people right out of the gate. You're getting big fights. You're getting put on main cards, a little bit of that jealousy or punching up, as they would say, but you can't neglect. It's not like you just showed up to fight. And over a decade, bro.
Yeah.
Like in other fights, it's not like Dana White, he's being good to you now, but you had to earn where you're at.
Yeah.
It's not like Dana's always been texting you and treating you well
No, I never
since
had a conversation
over
with
a
him till-
decade
till
ago.
13 months ago, I had my first conversation with him.
But you earn that because you win fights. You take care of your business. You do your things day in and day out, repetitively, year in and year out. And, you know, I feel like I'm arguing with people who are sitting there, like might be listening and thinking it's easy for you to say. Roman, most guys have tried different ways to last longer in bed, but thinking about baseball and thinking about your boys doesn't always work. The folks at Roman, an online men's health company, are changing the game with Roman swipes, the secret to longer lasting sex. Roman swipes are clinically proven to make you last longer in bed. They're effective, easy to use, and fast acting, but don't require a prescription. Roman can ship swipes to you in a discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipes packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. They're super easy to use. Just take the swipes out of the packet, swipe it on the old boy downstairs, let him dry, and you're good to go. That is it. Go to GetRoman.com/Bussin. You can get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's GetRoman.com/Bussin.
Number one, the beautiful thing is there were so many people that I've heard, and my favorite comment, and people do it often, and I don't know how many people think it and don't actually, you know, post it on my stuff or whatnot, but there's been so many people that are like, I didn't like Chandler when he came into the UFC, but now I'm a huge fan, or I really wanted to hate this guy, but for some reason now I like him. And that to me is my favorite, because I came into the UFC and I said it a couple times. I was like, y'all just wait. I promise I might not be your cup of tea right now, but eventually I think we're going to see eye to eye on some things. So that has worked out well. And number two, not only did I think, thank you for saying, you know, talking about paying my dues and that kind of stuff, but it was also what I have done in the last 13 months is a testament to being a good employee. There will never, ever be a negative to being a good employee and embracing the delayed gratification, knowing that if you show up with your best foot forward, you show up on time, you do the work, eventually it gets noticed. You might get passed up for this promotion. You might get passed up for that promotion. You might feel like you're being taken advantage of and you need to move. You need to figure something else out. But for me, I was with Bellator for so long. I made myself an indispensable asset to the organization. Therefore, they paid me more than they probably should have in order to keep me. And then when I was going to leave Bellator, they were making me an offer. I had already made my decision. I was going to go elsewhere. Therefore, the UFC had to make an offer because we want this guy because of one word, reputation. The only thing that you can ever hang your hat on truly is your reputation. You can't outrun a bad reputation, and it's really, really, really hard to fix a bad reputation. You and I were talking about this morning. Every single thing that you will accomplish, every single opportunity that you have always comes back to how do people perceive you? How much do they trust you? How much can they hitch their wagon to you and know that that wagon is heading in the right direction? Bellator had that with me. I love Bellator. I spoke to Scott Coker the other day, who runs Bellator. I'm always in their corner. I appreciate what they did for me. I moved on. Now I love being with the UFC, and I've been nothing but a phenomenal employee for the last 13 months. I said yes every single time that phone rang. I said yes every single time I got a text message. I put my best foot forward. I entertain people inside the octagon. I say the right things on the microphones because that's truly how I truly feel, and I'm being authentically myself, and it's worked out extremely well. People can call me cheesy. They can call me this. They can call me that.
Cornball.
But you're never ever going to call me
just start saying stuff that I've like it's said in my head.
But you're never, you can call me whatever you want, but you're never ever going to call me undependable.
Fraud.
Undependable. Yeah. Oh, fraud. I get fraud. I get politician. And I'm just like, sorry. Like the funniest thing, I was talking to my brother Eric about this yesterday, and mixed martial arts is it's a different scene. It's a different, if you're a hardcore MMA fan, you're a little bit different than a tennis fan, maybe even a casual NFL fan.
Yeah.
What?
Weird shot at tennis fans out there that listen.
I'm just saying it's a little bit more
I know
fringe than tennis. But I remember one of the things I read that somebody wrote was like, I really like Chandler and I like the way he fights, but I prefer my fighters a little bit more questionable. And I'm like, that actually sums it up perfectly. Some people aren't going to like me because I'm not questionable enough for them.
You're too much of an all-American boy. Like when you said, you'd crap yourself, I'm thinking, bro, just say shit, man. I say, oh, you shit yourself. You saw he was texting me.
I almost pooped my pants. No, but I don't know, dude. Like, yeah.
No,
So,
I feel you, bro.
you're not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. And the beautiful thing about being thrust onto a very, very large stage is for a moment there, I was like, oh dang, this is rough. I'm getting a lot of this and a lot of that. And then all of a sudden you're like, it's nice, man. I'm just like, a lot of people ain't gonna like me, man. But I just gotta be an effing wolf.
Yeah, be an effing wolf.
Being somebody who obviously is a fight fan, an MMA fan yourself,
Mm-hmm.
like you clearly really care about fighting as a whole and pushing that forward. I think you've done a great job with that. When you see things like your content after the fight, your conversation with Gaethje, you guys are kind of like chummy buddies at that point, and then also looking at like Canelo and Plant after the fight the other night also had a nice little moment, and that content like gets out there. Do you think that getting out into the public and then being embraced by the public is a sign of kind of like fight culture maturing and people being able to humanize the fighters instead of looking at it as kind of like a WWE thing where it's all hype and promo and hatred and all that type of stuff?
I do, and that's a really great question because yeah, there's a certain place that you have to put yourself into mentally to go and fight another human being. Not whether you're going to fight him here at the bus stop and there's nobody watching. That's much different than millions and millions and millions of people watching. But you have to put yourself into that spot. And he is trying to take away my world ranking. He's trying to take away my title shot. He's trying to take away food off the table for my family and what I want to do in the sport. So there's so many things going on. And then all of a sudden, as we go back to the respect thing, it's like, man, when you have a fight like that, and Canelo and Plant went 11 rounds or whatnot, it was a good fight. Me and Gaethje was obviously a great fight. There's just so much respect. And I do think when people see that, because I think I'm this way, like I'm a non-confrontational person. Like if we gotta hash it out, we gotta hash it out. We can be black and white right now. We can figure this out and we can hash it out just in all different aspects of the world. But I don't want people to dislike me. I don't want to have a tiff or a problem with anybody ever. And I think that is human nature. I think by human nature, we were created for relationships and created for good relationships, just human beings in general. So I think it plays to the aspect of, use the word humanizing. I think that's a perfect word because we are just human beings, and it's hard for people. There's no way people are thinking like that whenever they're saying some of the things about me, when they say things about my wife, my son, my fights, my this, my that, my abilities, my glass chin. Like there's just no way that they're thinking about that I'm just a human being, that I lay my head on the pillow at night every single night and I put these pants on one pant leg at a time, just like you, just like everybody out there. There's no way that they're thinking that. And of course that's social media, but as a whole, God created us for relationships, for community, for fellowship. And yeah, dude, I freaking wanted to separate Justin Gaethje from consciousness. I wanted the ref to pull me off of him. I wanted to jump up on top of the cage. I wanted to win at his expense. But as soon as the fight was over and we were outside that last bell, he's just another human being who's on the exact same journey as I am, So I think that part of the sport is, and that's why it's so beautiful going back to what the UFC has done and taken this sport from a fringe sport that just, 20 years ago, John McCain called it human cockfighting, now into on ESPN being talked about with the NFL and the NBA and the NHL and these big sports. Now people are seeing more and more, and the sport itself is cleaning up more. I use myself as an example. I graduated from the University of Missouri. I graduated from the University of Nebraska. I graduated from the University of Missouri, and I chose to fight, not because I wanted to fight. I wanted to keep competing. I could have went straight into doing real estate and doing people's finances, but I wanted to fight. I wanted to keep competing. So that's a beautiful aspect of the sport, and it does humanize it a little bit more, and that's why people love the sport, man. And that's why I love even your message. You're just a lunch pail kid, a hardworking kid from the Midwest, because that's what I am. That's what I will always be. My dad wore, white
Georgia
pants,
boots,
white pants
he
and
wore
Georgia boots.
dude.
My white pants and Georgia boots his entire life.
Yeah,
he would always say that, like, just give me a second. I haven't even taken my work boots off yet. He always said that every single day. I'm like, okay, Dad, all right.
Every single day.
I'm just
for over 80 years, son.
I'm just hungry, dude. Like I'm a kid, Dad.
I do. And thinking about your question too, Alex, it's like you have these mixtures of the fight game now where you have like social media people and influencers fighting, and people are just trying to show and entertain and build up hype around a fight. And it's kind of fugazi because when the fight's over, people start talking about money that's made on the fight. And, they're the actual winner because, Logan fought Mayweather. Logan Paul fought Mayweather and made it out. Mayweather was trying to carry him the whole fight. And I feel like everybody gets mad about that stuff. But seeing like genuine ass fighting and people building it up and hyping it up and living up to that hype and then showing their appreciation and respect afterwards, I think it's doing the sport. So I think UFC's been crushing it, dude.
Well, it's like you see, like, if Brady plays Rodgers, you see them hug and embrace and talk afterwards, and, like, we've always looked at that moment as, like, wow, such mutual respect. And I feel like that's been showcased more often now in martial arts, boxing, fighting, etc. Like, I think that's huge.
Well, that's what, and it's the two extremes, and it's kind of like what we talked about too. When one of the things that I kind of figured out, one of the things that, if I could say from an outsider's perspective, what I do well is that I live on both ends of the spectrum. Like if you meet me and we're just hanging out, like I hope that you see joy and happiness and contentment and compassion, but then inside the confines of mixed martial arts, I hope you see a nasty, scary, almost deranged individual. And I live on both of those ends of the spectrum. So to be able to have that range as a human being is, I think, something that people either they're drawn to it, they admire it, maybe they dislike it, I don't know, but I think it's an interesting aspect. And then that same thing, like Tom Brady is a competitor and Aaron Rodgers is a competitor inside those four quarters. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be on the other side of the ball, but afterwards, all right, man, well, hey, go home and kiss your kids and enjoy your life,
What would you have said if Joe got to interview you after that fight? It looked like they were gone and they cut away.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely would have said, hats off to Justin Gaethje. I definitely would have thanked the fans there at Madison Square Garden. It really was one of the highlights of my life. And then I probably would have called out Conor.
Yeah. So what's next, man? I saw you guys going back and forth on Twitter.
We'll see. I mean, you got to use that opportunity.
He sit down, would have called out Conor, like acting like he wins the fight too. Conor, you're next, motherfucker.
Exactly right. I mean, you don't really have that much of a leg to stand on. Yeah. But
you guys exchanged and went back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah,
what's next for Mike Chandler?
No, I mean, obviously that's a fight that people are talking about. That's a fight that's being buzzed all over the internet. Conor is coming back from an injury. I wish him well in his recovery. I think he needs to come back and fight somebody in that top 5 area. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna take a little bit of time off, obviously. So I think the timeline works out well. And it's funny too. My motivation behind wanting to fight Conor, which everybody wants to fight Conor, but I think my motivation is a little bit different. Of course, people talk about it's a money fight, it's the red panty night, but man, when we talk about how much I love this sport. And why I love this sport, it's epic moments at epic venues with millions and millions of eyeballs watching. Like I want to compete against Conor McGregor because of what he brings to a fight, what he brings to a fight week, what he brings to a training camp, what he will bring out of you through the experience. There's no doubt that he revolutionized the sport of mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts, where the UFC is, where mixed martial arts is as a whole on a world stage, is where it is. Partly because of who Conor McGregor has been. He's a worldwide superstar now, combat sports icon. So that's my motivation behind obviously wanting that fight. Of course, providing for my family is very important to me. But it's not monetary. It's more the epic proportions of how big the fight would be.
It's more than what people are perceiving you calling Conor out for.
No, of course, because that's where everybody goes. Everybody's like, okay, who's you sound thirsty for a payday and thirsty for this, and of course, yeah, like I'm a prize fighter.
I'm trying to fight Conor.
Yeah, like any one of us would fight Conor.
We're
right?
trying to fight Conor. We're trying to get in the NBA with Conor.
But it's in and there's just I think there's a mutual respect, and even his tweet to me was hey, this is a fight that I'm interested in in the future. Well done the other day. Good job, Mike. And even right there, if you look at the way that Conor speaks to other people on social media, it's always some kind of trash
Very
talk.
confrontational.
It's always some kind of confrontation. He knows he's not really going to get that with me. But once again, living on both ends of the spectrum. We can be respectful of each other. We can compliment each other and what we've accomplished. But he is a savage inside the octagon. I'm a savage inside the octagon. When the cage door closes and Bruce Buffer says it's time to go out there and we're gonna put on a show for the fans and sell a ton of pay-per-views. So I think I've put myself in a position where people want to see me fight. Obviously, everybody wants to see Conor fight, so we should probably share the octagon together.
How would you approach fighting somebody like Conor? You standing up with him like you did Gaethje? Because my man's got some certified hands. As a Conor McGregor fan myself and a Michael Chandler fan, how do you approach fighting somebody like Conor?
Conor's got certified hands. He's extremely well at managing the distance. He's a southpaw, bounces in and out really, really well. He counters shots really, really well. The greatest counter shot sequence I've ever seen in my entire life was coincidentally at Madison Square Garden when Conor McGregor became the champ, won the 155 belt off of Eddie Alvarez. When Eddie threw that overhand right, Conor stepped back and hit him with a 3 or 4 piece, and Eddie went down and just bobbleheaded him and went down and raised up 2 belts. So you got to watch this sequence right here when dang, you guys are fast with the highlights, man. Eddie throws that right hand over the top after he had already been stunned a couple times. Conor's just really, really good at boom, boom, boom. That 4 shots right there. Sets back, hits him with that left hand can put anybody out on the entire planet. Mm-hmm. I think my right hand can put anybody out on the entire planet. So I think it's a perfect fight. It's a different approach when you're fighting a guy like Conor, because fighting a guy like Gaethje who loves to brawl is much easier than a guy who you're really afraid to sometimes throw a punch at because of the shot that you don't see coming as you're pulling your hand back. So that's, you definitely got to be on your P's and Q's with the striking. But then Conor, the coolest thing about Conor too, is everybody always talks about how bad of a wrestler he is, how bad of a grappler he is. Chad Mendez took him down a couple times. He got taken down a couple times in the second Diaz fight. He got taken down numerous times in other fights, and he has always kept his composure, his mental awareness, capacity, and stability inside of the octagon, inside the confines of competition, especially with how heightened the stakes and the senses are inside of his fights while everybody in the entire world is watching. It's something to behold, man. He's a different level of competitor, and anybody who discredits him because he's lost fights is just either a casual or a Conor hater, to be honest with you. But I love my weight division. I can sit here and talk to you for an hour on each.
You got a stacked weight division.
Each one of the guys that I could fight, or each one of the guys inside the top 10, because I just think the lightweight division in the UFC is the most electrifying, most exciting division on the planet, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And excited to fight some more.
I think people just I think people are tired of seeing Conor get he's in a position to pick his fights, but he's picking his fights, and people made I want to say it was the fact of his last fight that he hadn't won since the last presidency or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's the fact that he keeps kind of just getting to be in the mix.
Well, once again, it's not always, it's not how many times you win, you lose. It's not always your performance, it's how you make people feel. He has captured the attention of the entire world, let alone the entire mixed martial arts world. Like, he's like Mike Tyson back in the 90s, man. Like, maybe he did some questionable things. Maybe he got accused of this and accused of that.
Maybe, Jesus.
Maybe I don't know. Like,
that boy went to prison for rape.
Whatever. I don't know my history, whatever. But there was something. It was must watch, must see, can't miss TV. And that's what he has done. He throws out a tweet right now about what he ate for lunch, and it's retweeted 1 million times. So I don't know. It's just my perspective. And I think once again, I'm a zoom outer guy, I like that analogy. I'm just like zoomed out instead of sitting here being like, oh, I would trash him and I would beat him and it's like, to me, I'm just like, I just enjoy the sport. I like the sport. I like what it has afforded me. I owe a lot of my life to the sport of mixed martial arts and, the life that I get to live with my wife and son. So I enjoy it, and I enjoy all the guys I get to compete against, and I love fighting for the UFC, and I hope 2022 is the biggest year yet.
I love it, dude. Should we get JP on the line?
Get JP on the line, dude.
Yeah, we're going to FaceTime him. Huge MMA stand, dude.
I know. I told him in Florida, dude. I was like, you better go on the bus, dude. Huh? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you could say that.
He
I
put in
told
a
him-
word.
I
JP,
put- I
we
put
were
in
on
a
the
word.
phone. We were on the phone yesterday because he was bummed he was going to miss out, and he's like, "Man, I wonder if he even remembers me, like because I was around." I'm like, "Oh, bro, he remembers. He brought you up."
It's like, bro, you better take, dude. You guys got all the technology and stuff, man. Dude, the bus is just blowing up, man.
We're doing some better things. Okay, sportclips.com today. Oh, that's the shout out Sport Clips. No free shout outs. A haircut should not feel this relaxing, but it does with the boys over at Sport Clips Haircuts. That's because stylists don't just wash your hair. They use a 7 pressure point massaging shampoo technique that is so relaxing you melt in your seat, just as Coach Vrabel. Blas was at a Sport Clips the other day, saw Vrabel getting his haircut before the big game this weekend. A hot steam towel, oh yeah, it's infused with tea tree oil and perfectly steamed, leaving you feeling like you just left a Swedish sauna. What's a Swedish sauna?
It's a sauna in Sweden.
Does it feel good?
Oh yeah, super good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Sport Clips haircuts are better, but it feels kind of like a Swedish sauna.
Now, what's the temperature set at? Do you know those details of the Swedish sauna?
A little warmer, but not too warm. You know what I mean? Like warm enough that you're comfortable, but not enough that you're like, I gotta get out of here.
And when you walk, yeah, and then when by the time you leave, you feel the cool breeze hit you, and you're like, "Yo, what did I just get into?"
Exactly.
That was Swedish.
That was Swedish, man. That is exactly what you get at Sport Clips. And to top it off, you get a pinpoint cut. Stop by Sport Clips today and ask for the MVP haircut experience. It's ridiculously. God, what is going on today? It is ridiculously relaxing. Sport Clips, the pros in men's hair.
Jay Pizzle.
Yeah, we can see you. What, you got a filter on?
Dang, dude, is that the Kim Kardashian filter?
I just look that good today?
Yeah, is that the Kim Kardashian filter? You're looking like South Beach.
Oh, here we go. Now, I wish I was in South Beach, man.
Hey, we appreciate you. This is JP Hovey. He's a fan of the show, Tier 1. We opened the calls up today. We opened the lines up. He's our first caller. JP, man, how are you? Ask your questions. We got Iron Mike Tyson here.
Hey, yeah,
kidding.
man. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Couple questions. It's frozen right now.
It's all right. We can
But
see.
I'm not
you hear
frozen
us?
on y'all screen, am I?
No, you're not frozen on ours.
Okay, cool. I don't know what we've covered already, but first, Mike, do I look familiar at all? Do you remember
Yeah,
me?
dude. I remember. I was just talking. I was just talking to Will about that this morning, dude. Of course, I remember. I said you better go out to Nashville on the bus, dude.
Heck yeah.
I mean,
No,
now,
that
now
was-
you actually
that
didn't
was
show up
just
for
nuts.
work, so I probably shouldn't have given you a ringing endorsement. No, I'm joking.
No, that was just like a wild full circle moment.
Yeah, dude.
That's why I'm super bummed I couldn't be there today to talk to you again.
Sorry, bro. You're stuck with me. I'll be on the bus till the cows come
JP
home.
with the first fan question. Hey, you remember me that one time, dude? Hey, you remember me that one time? Like, yeah, man.
Yeah, that was out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, right? At that. No, he's like,
Spot on.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what y'all have covered, but
We've
kind of
covered a
one of the
lot.
first things on my mind about the fight is like the difference in atmosphere from the title fight to this one. Did you already talk about that?
Yeah,
Nope.
you covered it.
Well,
Unless you got more to,
I covered
more to
well,
stack on it.
Not actually to compare the two, because you would think that a title fight is bigger. You know, of course, the
Right.
title implications, the world championship was bigger, but honestly, this one felt bigger. You know, fighting at Madison Square Garden. When you get into the sport of mixed martial arts, you want big fights with big opponents at big venues, and it doesn't get any bigger than Madison Square Garden. So, this one felt different, and I was actually telling the boys, like, I didn't hear my coaches one moment during the entire fight. Maybe a little bit during the, you know, whenever I was on the stool, obviously between rounds, but it was so loud in there. Every single move that we made every single moment of the fight, people were just screaming like crazy, and I could not hear a thing. So I was just like, well, I guess I'm on autopilot. I guess I'm out here alone by myself in front of these 30,000 people.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And then the next one, I know, like, you know, all of the different like media outlets are like, obviously the fight was electric. They're like, Michael Chandler tried to out Gaethje. Justin Gaethje was that like the smart move for him to do. It was entertaining for the fans. blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, it's like, well, he pretty much almost did out Gaethje, Justin Gaethje. So, but do you kind of like, I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
No, it's a good question, good perspective. I do think I out Gaethje Justin Gaethje. I was telling Will here too, like there was moments in the fight where, you know, of course the, you know, bring it on, you know, shaking my head, eating shots, like those things were ill-advised and they were entertaining and not the best path to victory, but they were also ways of mental warfare as well. You know, Justin Gaethje does a really good job of breaking people, breaking them down physically, breaking them down mentally and spiritually as well. So I think there was moments in the fight where I looked at him and thought, dang, dude, you know you're in a fight right now. You know that I'm different than a lot of the guys that you have fought before. So that was definitely part of it. I think, you know, just because I lost the fight doesn't mean that I didn't out Gaethje Justin Gaethje, you know. So it was good. Right. You know, it was a lot of fun.
Man, Mike sounds like me after a Nebraska loss or something.
No,
we're so brainwashed. We win every
Even
game,
though
dude.
we lost.
You know what? I think I did out Gaethje Justin Gaethje.
No, this loss feels like a win in a lot of ways. So, you know, keep on with the training. The train ain't stopping anytime soon. So let's go.
You'll hear the pod, JP. The perspective is always, as always, with Mike Chandler, wild and good too, admirable.
I guess.
Heck yeah.
He said, I guess.
No, I can't see y'all, so I'm having a tough time. I feel like Will's just making fun of me.
No, he's not.
No,
he's making fun of me.
Yeah, there's too many inside jokes going on right now.
He's making fun of me.
I'm not making fun of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, when can we get Will in your gym and we can put him through some sparring stuff? And we would love to see it,
dude. I think next week, Rough and Rowdy.
Yeah,
no, actually, Rumble on the Row. Rumble on the Row is in like February or March. It's a charity boxing event. Yes,
get warmed up for Rumble in the Row.
I'm gonna make a phone call right now. Actually,
whoa, take it easy. Nope. I gotta get some shape.
Let's go.
You got months. You got months.
You're right. Are you my trainer?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Now, we were texting the other night, and you're going to be on the road here.
I am on the road. I'll FaceTime you. I'll FaceTime you.
I'm just going to be in my house. Just don't. Hey, how'd that look, Mike?
Man, I was just shadow boxing up on the roof.
Yeah,
in my sauna suit. Yeah. So Rumble on the Row, Will Compton versus.
But anyway, to get in his to gym and train, we can do that. I think that'd be good. That'd be good.
No free shouts.
Fight in shape.
No free shouts. Nashville MMA.
No free shouts. Nashville MMA.
Yeah.
You got anything else, JP?
What's that?
You got anything else?
Last question would be if you fight Conor McGregor, are we going to see something similar like we saw with Gaethje, or what's the word?
Well, Conor's a lot more calculated, a lot less in the fight violence, you know, a little more diplomatic with the way that he fights. So you got to be, and he's a lot faster. I think he's a lot faster and a lot more precise than Justin Gaethje. Not to take anything away from Justin Gaethje, Conor's just that good. So, you know me though, man. I'm all gas, no brakes, get in his face. You know, put him into a fight real quick. So we'll see.
All right, we good to go. Signing off. Bussin with the boys. Subscribe, rate 5 stars. Comment, leave comments. Argue about Chandler and Conor McGregor fighting. Argue about Gaethje. Chandler out Gaethje and Gaethje. Make friends as well. See you, boys.
See you, boys. Make friends. I like that.